I'm Lazy B, justice seeker, story keeper, and we're still watching, waiting for justice.
Well, hello, friends. How is everyone? I keep trying to blur my background and it goes back. Maybe now it'll stay. Happy Friday. Was in court over 3 hours for that hearing. Not even kidding. Over 3 freaking hours. But I have a lot to tell y'all. So, got my notes. I have, let's see how many pages. Like 30. How is everybody? And nothing was really ruled on today. I'll just go ahead and let you know that. It's just like, hurry up and wait. Beach Bum, I'm so excited to see you. John Smith, Peachy, good to see y'all. Hey, Teresa. When will Wendy Jill? That's a very good question that we all want to know. Hey, Judel, good to see you. Country living, hi. Peachy says, I've been kind to Auburn grads all day. Please let me have at least the Penn State game. This is going to be good. It's going to be lengthy, yes. But good evening. Happy Friday, everyone. Okay, we are discussing the case for Angie Solomon. She was arrested in April of 2025 in Franklin, Tennessee on a solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And she met with an undercover agent. Oh, Judel, you're sweet. So I wear this lipstick that's probably very toxic. I also have a filter on to soften my skin, and that's it. But this is what I wore to court today. I popped the collar in honor of Annie Cunningham. And if y'all been following that, you know. But Annie Cunningham is one of our favorite witnesses in Donna Adelson's trial. So, yeah. All right. Let's... I think what I'll do first, I'm going to play my little video that I made. Let me see if it's uploaded yet. It's just like 9-10 minutes. This was this morning or this afternoon on the way to court. I don't think it's uploaded yet. I'm uploading it. But I'll play this because I kind of tell you about what the day is going to be like or the afternoon. But I want to show y'all the errand I ran before court. See, my computer just changed. I give up. StreamYard sucks, but I don't know what else to switch to.
Good morning. Actually, it's good afternoon. How are the fellow crimesters? My phone is mounted on my dashboard. You might see a lot of times Ubers do this, or even police officers. Yeah, they can record what's going on in the car or what's ahead. I just want to say, pop your collar. But I do love to pop my collar, and I love pink. Pink, oranges, corals. I like bright colors. The one color that just does not work on me is yellow. We are heading to a little field trip. I am going to go to Grace Works, which we know is the charity that Melanie Hicks and Angelia, aka Angie Solomon, have been charged with 2 crimes. One is a felony, and it is for simulation, which means defrauding something or making something appear higher in value than it's not. And I'm behind a postman, and I'm just going to hit it.
Or vice versa. Or making something appear that it's less than... You'll see what I'm talking about.
This van looks like what a funeral home director drives. I mean, it literally looks like what a body goes in. So that's the felony, the simulation. And then the other is misdemeanor because whatever it is that they defrauded or stole or allegedly, whatever they allegedly did, is value of less than $1,000. I don't have any specifics because the news reports don't give a lot of specifics, but I've read somewhere maybe around $800. Then I've read that it was to assist with Angie's rent. So I don't really know, but I'm gonna go to Graceworks because I'm curious. Do they consign? Because if they do consign, I have a lot of stuff that I would like to bring. I'm just, when you get to that point, I gotta clean out my closet, and for stuff I'll take it to Goodwill. But a lot of times there's stuff that could have tags on it, or I wore it once, or house goods. I'm just kind of over having things. I used to always decorate all the holidays. I'm kind of over it. Also, at 1:30 is Angie Solomon's motions hearing. So my understanding is there's several motions. I think they're going to make a motion to dismiss. They always try. I think we know that she wants a bond, whatever reduction, a bond restriction reduction, I guess is the word. So wants to be able to freely move about the state, which, I don't think that's fair. I mean, that's not fair to the victims. And I know her attorney said it's your constitutional right. There's a lot of people that would get charged with that. And guess what? They never even get a bond. They're in jail. So I don't know. I don't think she's allowed to drive herself. So I think she has some people drive, but she wants to be able to go to UT to see her daughter, and I don't know what else. Starbucks apparently with an attorney to meet, which is ridiculous. Not gonna have a confidential conversation in there. It's so loud. Did you want to kill him? What? Say it louder. The barista. Sorry. It's just all right. So I'll let y'all know how Graceworks goes. And I'm just gonna do the full video log, but I'm gonna be live tonight and we'll go over everything. So we shall see. But pop the collar. Fearless and Frosted, coming to Macy's soon. Fearless and Frosted, pop your collar and don't you worry. I promise you will look better than any defendant.
Symptoms associated with disorders.
Just driving down the road, listening to Lindsay Clancy, rebuttal witness.
Scales or
Lindsay Clancy
tests,
trial.
which can be psychological tests or scales that ask particular questions.
I mean, how long is the rebuttal going to
Other
be?
times you might use tests
it could
that are
be
biological tests,
forever.
like
But I
the person's
am
brainwaves,
driving to
called
Franklin.
EEG,
Y'all can
or
see how
laboratory
beautiful
tests.
this is. This lovely farm over
When
here.
you're talking about
I hope that
a source that
we
use
learn a lot at
the
Graceworks.
psychiatrist in order to
It's called the DSM, otherwise known as the Diagnostic and Statistical
He's
Manual.
talking about
It's currently in
the
85th edition,
DSM,
or
which,
actually
if y'all
revision was made in
recall,
the 5th edition.
the psychiatrist,
So
forensic
that
psychiatrist that I
test,
interviewed
which is
earlier
created
this
and
year,
vetted,
he
by a
actually
large
got a
number of
diagnosis.
professionals,
I think parental
provides
alienation, wasn't it, in the
criteria for the
DSM?
different disorders.
Gotta go
And these
back
are
and
known
look
as
at that.
operational
I would
criteria.
love to talk to
In
him about all
psychiatry,
this
there aren't
now,
necessarily
but I don't
gold
want to bug
standards that you
him.
can use for diagnosis, like finding a
But it
bacterium
would be
or finding an
fascinating.
anatomical tissue.
Heading to Graceworks, gonna see what a felony's about. All right. I'm hoping for someone that knows just a little, enough to give me some clues. But all right, here we go. Graceworks, very busy. Busy Friday. All the moms are shopping. Kids are in school. They got 2 more hours to shove some Starbucks and a croissant in their mouths. All right. Yes, excuse me. Do people often commit felonies here? Just was curious. Very curious. All right. I'm going to take y'all in here with me.
Okay, so this is inside Graceworks. It's essentially a thrift store. Okay, so like Goodwill, but for a better, yeah, I'm live. Hey, Millie, I'm just playing a little video and then you'll see me. I just wanted y'all to see what this is. This is literally like the stuff when you're moving and you just kind of go, oh, you know what? I don't even care anymore. I don't even care. And you're just throwing it in your car and you're donating it. Okay, so this was my purchase today. This glass that I'm holding right here. It says, keep calm and dream on. This is for you, Angie. This was my purchase at Graceworks today. I thought it was fitting. So. Look at all these glasses. I almost bought these. These were hand-painted martini glasses, but I don't need anything else like this. But they were only $3. Those are Lolitas. I'm telling you, I think that pair is like 80 bucks. So then this is the other side where they have the clothes. I just have to tell you, oh, let me change the screen. When I went back in there, or when I went in there, I should say, I felt like all these people in there stopped and looked at me. But I could just be paranoid. Hey, Cat Ride. Okay, so this is a Christian charity. So you come, you donate your stuff, then they sell it, and it goes towards things. They actually have like a food pantry in there for people that can't make ends meet. I had a friend, True, years ago. She got breast cancer. Her husband was out of work, and they went there often for groceries. I have these sneakers. They're Betsy Johnson. I mean, those weren't my size, but I was like, are you kidding? Yeah, how tacky that you steal from a thrift store. I think I solved the case while I was in there.
All right, this is my big purchase. I went into Graceworks. I got this for $3. No, I should have taken it out before I went filming. It is a hand-painted wine glass, and I'm going to drink out of it. I'll drink my Fresca out of it when we go live. This was $3. These things were like $60 at gift shops back in the day. Keep calm and dream on. Okay. Then I went into the clothing store, and I think I figured out what happened. Okay. So now I know what that place is. So it's a thrift store. So just like you go and donate stuff to Goodwill and then they sell it in the store, same thing. So now I understand. I didn't know, like, did she consign something and make it? But I think, my opinion, this is my opinion, but I think bought some things and changed the price tags on them. So, like, for example, they had some, there's a brand called Strasbourg Children's. They're beautiful things. Like when my children were baptized, christened, whatever you want to call it, I bought stuff there. And, you know, a silk gown can be $300. Okay. So people have donated them in there and they're $45. But you could take a price off, maybe, I don't know, somehow switch a price tag with something that was $5. And then you go resell it. So I'm guessing there was multiple items because I don't know how you have one $800 item Um, but I think they switched it. That's my opinion. And
Yeah. So that is my opinion after today. Because I couldn't understand, like, how do you get money out of Graceworks? And I'm guessing if I had to, because if there's simulation charge and a theft charge, so maybe they switch price tags, right? Like you switch price tags with an expensive purse and a cheap purse or something like that. That's only my guess. I don't know. And yes, Tater, I have a ton of hair. And Little Miss Red Velvet, I'm sorry, you are sick. That sucks. No, I don't think anybody worked there, Teresa. So I think it's my theory. And I did go to the criminal court to try and get records, but there's no records to get except for the indictment that's online, just to try to get more detail. But I think they switched out price tags, or somebody did, allegedly.
on the way to court, because I feel a little freaked out in the parking garage. And that way, if something happens, there'll be video proof.
Yeah, I was filming myself in the garage because I was scared. And that way, if something happens, just always tell them to check my iCloud.
My iCloud. Okay. The street parking. It's right next to the courthouse, but I just don't trust these people. Why do I always get nervous? And it's not like you can pack heat when you're going in a courthouse, you know? Okay. All right, everyone. I'm on the sidewalk. All right, about to walk into the courthouse.
All right. So now we're all caught up. So this was me going into the courthouse. So this was about, the hearing started, I think, at like 1:30 or something like that. Let me go back up to, I'll just put Graceworks on there. But I do want y'all to know when I was checking out, buying my $3 glass here, keep calm and dream on, I said to the lady, I'm like, so is this the place where that Angie lady stole from? And the lady goes, I don't know what you're talking about. What? And I said, Angie Solomon, she was arrested for solicitation to hire a hitman. But she and like her friend Melanie Hicks had a charge. They stole like $800 from here. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And she wouldn't look up. So clearly the lady has been told not to comment. But yeah, I am staying vigilant. I am. Okay. Now let's get on to the hearing. Oh, thanks, little miss. I love pink. All right. Today was the motions hearing. It was at 1:30 in courtroom C. So when I got to the courthouse, definitely Friday afternoon, like nothing else going on. The sheriff deputy was like, so what are you doing here today? I said, I'm going to a hearing. He's like, Solomon. And I said, yes, is that okay? And he said, yeah, it's fine. I just want to know. And then I realized like there's nobody in the courthouse. I noted the court reporter was in a zebra print dress. There were 4 district attorneys there. They came serious today. Let's see. I wrote 128. Aaron Solomon and his family arrived. There were a ton of people arriving, like detectives, police, all this stuff, like to testify or whatever, or to argue a subpoena, which that'll come around. Then Richie arrives and he has no tie on, which casual Friday, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting in Tennessee. I mean, the judge, he wears like the little bow ties. He did not. He had a black, kind of like a knit polo, and then a navy blazer, and then like a dark pink, magenta, or a deep red. I think it was a deep pink pocket square. So black and navy, just letting y'all know. Angie arrived and she was in a gray charcoal suit with rose gold thread pinstripes. She had a very thick burgundy like turtleneck. I mean, I was getting hot just looking at it, making me itch. Her hair was in a ponytail. She had a lot of makeup on, big rhinestone earrings. burgundy patent, like a low heel with like a big chunky heel, and a burgundy patent tote bag. I think it might have been embossed like an animal print, like alligator or something. I noted that I sat on the other side today behind, just because there were so many people coming in, like with the state to testify, it was getting crowded. So I sat on the other side. About 1:36, the judge enters, and I noticed that some people, defendants, take a little longer to stand up. I mean, when a judge, like that door opens, I'm like a rocket out of my seat. Let's see. I wrote down Mason, Moreland, Edmondson, and Duncan were all the 4 district attorneys for the state of Tennessee. They started out with a sidebar, and that was with Richie, who's Angie's attorney. Richie, what's his last name? No, that's his last name, Darren Ritchie. So he is doing all this pro bono. He is from California and moved here. No, he's from here, but he's in California, coming back here. So I guess he's doing this as a PR thing. Tater. Leslie, I asked one of my clients the other day that goes to Grace Church what he knew about the situation, and he said all he heard was that Angie was crazy. See, it's not just us. Yeah. I'm glad you're loving the details, because I know some people go, we don't care about what they wear. Well, I do. Okay. So my little slogan is where style meets justice. Hey, good to see you. Ain't no holla back. Yeah. Casual Friday in court. Yeah, beach bum. I mean, it was chilly in the courtroom, but the big sweater and the jacket, I don't know what the purpose of that is, but whatever. I wrote, Angie must be hot, very thick turtleneck. I heard someone behind me whisper, is that a turtleneck? And then with Darren Ritchie, I heard somebody say, he's not even wearing a tie. He is a real piece of work. So I wrote that down. Then they said there's a number of motions to go over today. Let's get to it. So then the state immediately stands up, the lead prosecutor, and she said, we need to quash a subpoena, Your Honor. We got notification of this at 3:45 p.m. yesterday, and it is the defense calling a witness. And I believe we need to talk about this in camera because there's one particular witness I don't want to talk about in court open, and I think we need to do this in your chambers. So then the city of Franklin attorney said, okay, I'm here for another subpoena. It's not that one. And so the judge goes, okay, let's go to recess. So 1:36, then at 1:40, we go to recess. They go in chambers. So it's the prosecution, Angie, Darren Ritchie's team. They were gone for about 10 minutes, and they came back, and the prosecution said, let's keep that under seal, Your Honor. So we don't know who it was. Then the attorney for the city of Franklin stood up, and I think she was there. I'm not quite sure who they subpoenaed. If it was, I don't know, if it was the detective that the prosecution was going to have on the stand. It's really hard to hear in here. The judge doesn't really use the microphone, and I was picking up what I could. So then the judge goes, well, I am looking at this subpoena, and this subpoena says this is in a U.S. district court. This is a circuit court. This is not a valid subpoena. And the attorney for City of Franklin went, okay, thanks, Your Honor. And she just went and sat down. She closed her portfolio. He was like, yeah, so we're not going to discuss it because that's not a real subpoena. So then you could tell Darren Ritchie was hot because he filed it with the wrong courts. So then he stands up. He's like, well, I was told when I emailed Miss Edmondson on August something 11th, she was out of town. I don't know. They were back and forth. So then he prints out all these emails. I guess he's trying to say she told him to file it in that court. I don't know, but it's not really her job to tell him where to file stuff, you know? And like I said, he's new, so he doesn't know. I mean, new to Tennessee. I'm not saying a new attorney. And Richie said, Your Honor, I'm just trying to streamline this. And the judge said, I mean, there's no need to streamline, but let's just kind of get through this. Let's lay it all out. And then why don't we cut to the chase? And Richie goes, yeah, that's what streamlining is. Who says that to a judge? I noted that they have a motion to suppress, which has to do with Angie's cell phone, which was the majority of the afternoon, and then a motion to dismiss. There was a little talk about the confidential informants. I think they might have mentioned two, but I don't know. Then they want to talk about the amendment to her bond restrictions. They did all agree to her having access to some kind of software or an email. So what it is, she's going to be given, I guess, an iPad, I think, from him. And on there, it'll probably have the internet connection, I guess, like a built-in cellular. And she can email. And then he's like, but Your Honor, she needs internet so that she can do her research. And the judge said, what kind of research is she doing? You're her attorney. And he said, absolutely not. She's not getting internet access. So, all right. So they shut that down. So we didn't even really talk about that, but it sounds like she's going to have an iPad where she can email with him. They did. Yes, how you look in court is important. Absolutely. Hey, Rosie. Let me try and keep up with this. John Smith bush hogged for 3 hours. Well, I hope you drank a lot of Gatorade. What's a bush hog? It's a big tractor mower thing. All right. Richie needs manners. I just don't like when attorneys are trying to school a judge. I don't like that. So then the judge goes, now I know another thing we had talked about was her having the ability to freely move. He said, which I understand, but I do need to understand more about what the concerns are about public safety. And then they said, well, she could go talk to anybody. She could be out there. And then her attorney says, well, I do want to be clear. Anybody can go to her house right now and meet with her. So how is that any different? Then they started talking about the representative of the surety, which is like, I guess, the guarantee on the bond. So her friend Angel that was in court with her, she's been there all 3 times. She is apparently one of the signers on that. My husband would not let me sign that. Like a $250,000 guarantee for somebody? Nope, not happening. But they said that that person that is the representative, I'm assuming it's Angel, her friend, I don't know for sure, has been asked to relinquish the responsibility of monitoring her GAB4 phone and has asked her defense attorneys to now be responsible for that. And so that is going to happen with Mr. Ritchie's office. And the judge said, now, Mr. Ritchie, I need you to tell me how your client is going to be prejudiced if she is not allowed to move freely. He said, well, Your Honor, there's a practical and a financial reality. Let's have somebody, accompany her. And Richie said, what if it's somebody like my staff that can go with her? And the judge goes, that's going to put y'all in a bind, because what if she breaks some rule? Then you're going to turn in your client. So they're going back and forth with this. And then I heard Richie go, well, her friend Angel will drive her so that she can go to Knoxville and see her daughter at UT. And I thought, well, is Angel cool with this? I mean, to go drive people around? And then the state said, Your Honor, we're concerned she could have access to internet and she could be using someone's phone, or she could be out there talking with others. And the judge said, I do think the state's concerns are very reasonable, and I'm trying to find the right balance. And Richie said, thank you. The defense will take responsibility for the GAB phone. And the judge said it would be a hazardous position if Richie and his staff were responsible. He said, I'm just trying to think of alternative. He said now she can drive to his office, but then someone said she's not allowed to drive and someone else has to take her. Then they again were making the point, anybody can go to her house. And Richie's like, Your Honor, we are asking for her to have one state. There is one state of 50 for her to freely move about. And the judge, again, I'm trying to find the right balance. So he's going to, I guess, look at everything and then make a ruling I don't know. I mean, they are going to come back, but nothing was ruled on today other than that iPad thing. Oh, Teresa, that's a good point. Sounds like the iPad tablet is like the ones the residents have access to in jail and prison for email and text messages. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the fact she wanted to do her own research, I'm like, I don't think so. Oh, I remember Judge Wapner. I loved the People's Court. I can still play that music in my mind. Okay. So then we talked about the two subpoenas. So one, we don't know what it was. And then there was another one, a lady named Mary Skinner. Yeah, she's apparently Angie's counselor or therapist, and they had her like sequestered. And then the judge says, hey, any witnesses that are going to be testifying in like today, I need y'all to go ahead and be sequestered. So excuse yourself. So like all these detectives and all this leave. And then after they testified, they had to leave the courtroom, which I thought was interesting because I don't know. Oh, arnica gel is good for bruises. All right, sorry. I don't want to get behind in the chat. Hey, everybody. All right. Yeah, People's Court. All right. So then when they said Angel could drive, the state said, I'm sorry, Your Honor, that is not a neutral. And that is, I loved this. This is this was a good quote. I forgot to tell my friend earlier, I had written this down. She said, that is not in the best interest of justice. Is that not a great quote? Not in the best interest of justice. And the judge is like, I agree. He's like, I'm just trying to figure this out. I just don't understand. Sidebar Snoop says, I just don't understand why everyone is bending over backwards for this woman. If I tried to hire a hitman to off someone, I'd be in a cell eating I agree. I don't get it. I don't understand. Then so Richie is challenging. There was they want to suppress evidence. He does. And he is challenging the seizure of her phone the day she was arrested. So she was arrested. Hold on real quick. Let me check this text. She is wearing, no, I'm just kidding. Just got distracted by my text. All right. So they're talking about the cell phone. So she was arrested April 11th of 2025. And the challenges were, I love this judge. So Richie, sometimes I'll say Richens because of Corey Richens, but it is Darren Ritchie. So he says there's 3 challenges. 1, the investigator pressed her for her passcode. 2, they unlocked and accessed the phone 19 days before the search warrant. 3, they seized the phone 19 days prior to the warrant. So then they called Kyle Brink, who is he's the main detective, I think the lead detective on the case. So they called him to the stand, and this was interesting. He became the lead detective on April 4th, and this all went down April 11th. So I thought that was telling. So at least for a week, they were working on all this. He described the arrest, and he said, yes, Miss Solomon wanted to put Aaron, her ex-husband, underground. Yes. And then they talked about getting her cell phone out of her vehicle. She was in the parking lot of Macy's, and then she walked to the other car where the TBI agent was. And then when they were done, she was walking back to her car, and then they arrested her. And then they had her car towed, and they got the phone out of it. So then one of the officers called the detective, or the Sergeant Gomez called and asked the detective, do you want us to seize the phone? And he said yes. So they talked about a Faraday bag. And if y'all were Karen Reed people, you know what that is. It's a bag that you can put a device in, and it blocks like signals and things. But the first thing they always do when they seize a phone is put it on airplane mode. If you've got an iPhone, you don't even need the passcode. You just swipe down and hit airplane mode. But they always want to do that because it preserves all the evidence right there. If a phone is like about to run out of battery or something like that. So you want to go on airplane mode so the phone's not trying to connect, because it can keep trying to do that and deplete a battery in a Faraday bag. So Thought that was kind of interesting. This is all apparently on body cam. Yay for body cam. We'll see how Tennessee is with that. So then they take her to the interview room at the city of Franklin, or the whatever you want to call it, the interrogation. And then they put up on the screen her sitting in that interrogation room. I was like, hell yes, they are going to play this. I mean, I was just like, where's my popcorn? And she was wearing the same outfit, of course, that when she got out of jail, which makes sense, right? It was a sweatshirt with Smokey on it, you know, like the UT mascot, and a Tennessee ball cap and jeans. And so she's just sitting there in the room. And then the judge is like, well, hold on. How long is this video? All right, before I get there, though, so it was 16 minutes. He's like, in the best interest of time, let's not play that. I'll review it, get it to me on a thumb drive. And so they asked, did you read her Miranda rights? And the detective says, I did. And he said that she made a statement that said, I think I should talk to an attorney. And he said he was being more cautious with that, because that's not exactly saying, I'm not going to talk, I want an attorney. So he took that as her invoking her rights. And he was saying that Angie said, I know my best friend's phone number, Melanie, you know, the one with Grace Works, and my daughter's phone number's Gracie. I know those by heart. I know them by heart. So I know those. And then she also, though, mentioned, I have some attorney numbers probably in my phone. And her attorney's trying to make the point that he was kind of pushing her to get more information out of her phone. And so what they do, it's a tactic, just know this, that he was like, well, do you want to get some numbers out of your phone so that you can write them down so you can have those, you know, when you call from jail? And they didn't give her phone like for her to hold, but he held it, and she started saying 3, and he's like, hold on. And so she gives him his passcode, but this is a tactic that they do to get passcodes. But we know police and interrogations, they can lie, they can do whatever they want. So he said she kind of stumbled through her passcode, and then he shows what he's doing. He pulls up her contacts, and he wrote on a Post-it note the numbers that she wanted. And then when he was leaving the room, he was trying to press, you know, that button like on the side to lock the phone. And he said it wouldn't quite lock. But he said he never accessed that phone other than that with her there without the warrant. And they did not get the warrant until April 30th, 19 days later. And it was in airplane mode until the warrant. They explain they have a wall of chargers, of all the different chargers at the police station and evidence lockers. And the attorney said, why so long? And this kind of annoyed me, but like, I also get it. This is not Law and Order, right? We're not trying to get all this done in 46 minutes plus commercials. He said, I just wasn't in a hurry on the warrant. We had the phone. It was in airplane mode. There were a lot of other things that we were tying up dealing with this investigation. There were other priorities, he said. And they said, was the interview with her recorded? He said, yes. And that's when they pulled up on the screen that they had 16 minutes they wanted to show. And the judge said, we'll add this as Exhibit 5. He said, make sure you save it to the thumb drive, give it to the clerk in the criminal division, and they'll get it to me. And I wrote next to it, bummer, because I was so excited. Y'all know I love those videos. And they said, did you ask her any more questions after that? And he said no. She voluntarily gave her code. Then Richie goes, well, I've never seen this video. The video was much longer. And the state says, well, the whole thing is longer, but she's alone in the room for like 30 minutes. So we cut that out. And I wrote DA goes to work. I don't know what that means. So then what's his majiggy? Richie gets up there for cross, and he's asking Detective Bink how long he's been doing this. Beach bum, wait till she violates the ankle monitor. Let's hope this one has GPS. Some don't. Yeah, this one does, but it's not like following somebody on your iPhone, like 360, like you can see everything, to my understanding. I think maybe things can be set up. It's $260 a month. I do know that. I don't know who's paying that. Sir Tedrick, the fact that she tried to hire a hitman, she didn't succeed, but she did it would be murder. So it should be treated as if she did succeed at murder, as that was her intent. I agree. And it's also been said in the recording that night with the TBI guy, not only did she offer the hit out to Aaron to put him under the ground, well, she wanted him to disappear, all this, but also mentioned a judge and attorney. So just saying. So Richie asked the detective, have you ever been on a murder case? And he says, I've worked on others. He's like, you ever been on a solicitation case? He said, no. But this is the first time this detective has been the head of a case like this. And he became a detective in July of 21, but he's been a policeman for 11 years. He's like, so this is your first time? And he's like, yes. He's like, well, why did Gomez call you? I thought you were there at the scene. He said, well, he called me because I had gone to the secondary location, which if you were with me on the drive along that day, which was that Marriott hotel. So he went over there. Sergeant Harris, I believe, is who arrested Angie. I'm just writing this down in case I need it for a FOIA request. Yeah, I already talked about she was arrested walking towards her car. The CI's car was there as well. It was about 20 yards away. He said that was a really rough guess. He doesn't know. He didn't manage it. And then the detective said, or the attorney says, was this public or private property? And he's like, I mean, it was a parking lot of the Cool Springs Mall. He said, is that government owned? He said, no. He said, was her car legally parked? Yes. Was it a hazard? No. Was it blocking anything? No. He's like, and you had it towed? Yes. The state objected and said, this is ridiculous. This is not what we're about going into all this, because this is kind of stuff you do at trial. And Richie states he's entitled to ask these questions, that the prosecutor opened the door to this. The judge sustains and says, there's nothing that you must ask today about this. And so Richie was like, it felt like 5 minutes. It was probably 30 seconds, but it was a long pause where he's like, well, let me go through my questions or what else I want to ask. He said, let's discuss the Miranda rights. He says, it doesn't seem like you're clear if she was invoking her rights or not. He again reiterated, I was erring on the side of caution. And he said, but you got her to enter her code or give you her code. Did she ask for those numbers? He's like, no. And Richie's trying to imply like he's seen the video of this part and he thinks that he shouldn't have pressed her or asked her for her code to get to the contacts because she had invoked. But what they're kind of saying is that's not trying to get testimony. That's just trying to get her into her contacts. He said, let me ask you, what's your experience on Miranda? And he says, I don't know what he says. I didn't write it down. And he said that she did know 2 numbers by heart, Melanie's and the daughter's. And he said, why did you ask her if she wanted these numbers, other numbers? Was this a ruse? So that is the word of the day, ruse, R-U-S-E. He was just saying this was all a big ruse. And he said that this was a Fifth Amendment violation. He said, do you believe that this is lawful? And Detective Kyle was like, yes. And then there was some question asked, and the detective guy, I mean, he's younger. He was like, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? And Richie goes, Madam Court Reporter, because I don't think he can repeat it. So she repeats it and then asks Kyle, what is this? Again, is this part of the ruse? You weren't asking for consent. Then goes through the evidence locker. Says, what about her phone being on airplane mode? So it was on airplane mode. He came in, got Angie to unlock the phone, and then he was trying to get it locked back. And on the screen, I guess you could still see her phone lit up, because he couldn't get it. And then he says, "Oh, there it goes," as he's walking out. But what Richie is challenging is, well, her phone wasn't locked and y'all had access. Like they were all in there. So they don't, whatever is on this phone, they don't want it in there. All right. I'm trying to see if there's anything else about this. Y'all are having other. Leslie, who's on second? This sounds like a cray-cray court hearing. Who's on second? I don't know what that means. Yes. So when they seized the phone, they did not have the search warrant at the time, but they didn't search it. They just seized it. And they said, this is customary. Like when you arrest someone, you take the phone, right? But then you don't do anything with it for sure until you have the search warrant. He said Angie stumbled trying to give the phone code, and then Richie says, well, was she stumbling or was it you stumbling? And Angie's all whispering with his assistant lady that's got like frosted hair. And then Richie pulls out, oh, it's like this. He pulls out and he goes, "Would this refresh your memory?" It was a baggie with a Post-it note in it. Like pulls it out of his pocket. I mean, it's literally a Ziploc sandwich baggie. And it was a Post-it note because he's like, I think I wrote down like 3 numbers in an email. And so he shows it and he goes, yes, that refreshes my memory. I mean, y'all, this is April 25. It's been well over a year. I wouldn't remember either. So in there is the Post-it note, and there were 6 numbers in an email, and he had said 3. And Richie's like, I just want to show the inconsistencies, Your Honor. And so, yep, they showed that. So I guess that was the Post-it note Angie had when she got out of jail. And he said, Detective Burke, do you think you violated her constitutional rights? He said no. And he was like, thank you, Your Honor. There was somebody in media sitting next to me, like from a TV show, I think. Next up was a second witness, Detective Griffin. So he would be your forensic guy. He's been working there since February of 2022, or doing this job. Prior to that, he worked in Asheville, North Carolina. He does all the digital forensic stuff. He talked about airplane mode and the importance of that, which I just told y'all. And talked about the storage lockers, that they keep everything charging until they have the opportunity to download that phone. And they don't do that until they have the search warrant. And so Richie's like, do you know when you got that search warrant? Like trying to have a gotcha moment. And he's like, I mean, I don't know. I feel it was April. He's like, just May 4th. So the warrant was April 30th. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I know I did not touch it until there was a search warrant. So, then he said, can you get into a phone even if you don't have the password? He said, you can, but we always tell the detectives, if you can get the passcode, please get it. The thing is, the reason they always put it in airplane mode is they want to preserve the cell phone right then. And like, let's say I got arrested and they took my cell phone. My husband might be able to log into my iCloud and he could wipe my phone remotely. So that's why they always put it on airplane mode, which, yes, there's a first time for everything, right? And the judge says that, Beach Bum. So we'll get to that. That's how much in. Okay. One thing I noticed that the attorney would do when he would scratch his head, he would like do this. I'm kind of like the bird. I'm like, is that intentional? I pick up on weird stuff like this. No, they had the warrant. You can seize it. Yeah, you can take it. They didn't do anything with it. I mean, it's just like they bust a drug deal. They're not going to go, okay, well, we're going to leave the cell phone here. I mean, they didn't do anything with it. You're calling him Beverly Hills. I like that. Yep. All right. But yes, he talks about the importance of making sure it can't be remotely wiped. He said, particularly with iPhones and the iCloud. But he said, yes, it's been in an evidence room ever since that day that she was arrested. It was on airplane mode. Then once they download the phone, they do power it off. Then Richie asks him, what's your name? What's your role? Like, we just went through this. Then he going over the search warrant, and he said, this is a suppression hearing. We're talking about the violation of her Fifth Amendment. And the judge says, "What type of phone is this?" And he said, "I'm not for sure. I think it was an iPhone 14." He said, "Let me ask you this. Can you put that in airplane mode without the passcode?" And he says, "Yes, you can." And I noticed Angie was writing a lot of notes and she was talking. She was very attentive. Then that witness leaves. Again, he has to leave the courtroom. Then they bring up Officer Grubbs, young kid. I mean, young police officer. And he was there April 11th. He got Angie's phone, placed it in airplane mode, talked about how he did that, no passcode required. And then they were like, okay. At this point, it was 3:12, so it had been an hour and 45 minutes, and they took a 15-minute recess. So then they came back, or maybe they came back and it was 3:12. So Richie, in summary, he wants the phone out of evidence. He claims there are warrant issues. He says it's a Fifth Amendment violation. Oh, and also when they had all the witnesses leave, Angel left, her friend. So then the state stands up and starts. They have all. They were beautiful today. I got to give them props. They had all their cases, everything out, and they explained that a passcode. They talked about a case which is State versus Curry that was in the Third Circuit Court. Passcode is not testimonial, and that it's only a Fifth Amendment violation if it was compelled. But they said that was not compelled, that she gave it voluntarily. That's where the discrepancy is. And the prosecutor, she's like, "Your Honor, police can lie to defendants. It's what they do. It's all a part of their investigative process." And the judge said, "Are you aware of any of these cases in Tennessee?" And I wrote "go forth," but I don't know why I wrote that. And they said, "Yes, the Sixth Circuit in 2001, there was a case, State versus Walton, page 75. So I wrote that down because I want to try and find it. And then Richie starts quoting cases. It looked like he had Google, but I think lawyers might have a database of all this stuff. Beach Bum says, "I wonder if there's a tour that could be taken of what happens when a case is filed, like who does what when in an investigation." That's a good idea. Y'all remember I told y'all that Metro Nashville, they do that, what do they call it? It's sort of like a police academy for people like us. And the lady I know that works there that's high up, she texts me. She's like, "Applications are open. I'm ready for you to apply." I can't because I live like half a mile outside the county. I'm so bummed. But I'm going to see if my county has it. Country living. Has anyone asked how involved Gracie is involved in this at all? I mean, did she not wonder where her mother was getting all the money from? J. Crew, DoorDash, PacSun. I agree. I've wondered that myself. I would think if it's been a financial struggle for years, she's got to know that. And if mom's all of a sudden buying her all this stuff, I'd be like, "Mom, like, how are we getting this?" Or was it like, "Well, we're owed all this." I don't know. So then Richie starts going on about warrants and subpoenas. He's like, "You 19 days, that is a long time." And the judge goes, "Listen, that is a mere passage of time. I have been over plenty of trials, and we cannot rule on a passage of time and for a warrant being unreasonable." He's like, "I have seen plenty of other cases like this." He says, "I'm going to review the video. What else do we have? Let's get through this." And then again, Richie says, "This is the detective's first time on a murder solicitation." And the judge said, "Don't even go there." He said, "Everybody has their first case, so we're not going there." So then General Duncan, so this lady, if y'all see any of this on TV, she's got I don't know, like a dark blonde, and then on the ends, like her last few inches, she's got deep purple tips on her hair. She's cool. I mean, she has to keep that up because I know that stuff fades. A rumor is she bought that car at CarMax. That's probably why they asked her in the deposition. Yeah. What does that mean, John? If it isn't full, they may let you go anyway. I don't know what that means. Okay. So the state is like, we're not totally sure what he's trying to argue, but we think he's trying to argue that she was in violation of due process. And that we think that the defense is saying this is due process of entrapment, and quotes a case of Russell, and that the Supreme Court has never dismissed for due process, that Tennessee has never dismissed, Sixth Circuit Court has rejected it, talked about what an entrapment would require, said this is nowhere near being an entrapment. And the judge goes, let's just cut to the chase. Are you saying the defense wants to dismiss this because of entrapment? And she says the state 12B1 can't bring testimony for this. Then starts arguing with all his stuff, says he is trying to use these hearings to get discovery. That's not the purpose of these. We're not having a pretrial deposition in here in open court, and that's what he's trying to do, which I thought was interesting. This is not allowed. And the judge was really thinking for a while. And then, what's his face? Richie says, well, pursuant to Rule 12B 3A4, the indictment should be, or the judge goes, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to give you a fill in the blank sentence, and I just want you to replace the words. He said, pursuant to Rule blank, the indictment should be dismissed because blank. And Richie's like, okay. Pursuant to Rule 12B 3A4, the indictment should be dismissed because of outrageous governmental conduct. And the judge is like, I'm just not finding that rule. And so then Richie gets I guess they have like a book of the laws, the rules. I mean, it's thick. And he's like, well, according to this book, it's 12B2A. So what is it different? Is it different things in different books? I don't know. All right. So then the judge goes, are you ready for me to blaze my trail, Mr. Ritchie? And Ritchie says, well, there's a first for everything, Judge, because they're saying how there hasn't been this in any trials. And Judge goes, is it fair to be entrapment adjacent? And he said, no, Your Honor, I don't think so. So he says he's not going for entrapment. And then he argues the deadlines, and he says, Your Honor, September 30th, everything is due. And the judge goes, well, August 28th is the psych evidence or whatever, motions are all due. And then September 30th, everything else is due. And Richie goes, no, the entrapment also was in there with the psych. It was not. I was there the day that was ruled. It was not. And state of Tennessee says, no, I have August 28th as just being the psych records. And he said, that's what I thought. We'll look with the clerk. All right. It's like Richie's like one of these that just wants to be right, which, I mean, we all like to be right, but just admit you're wrong. Richie says, well, I think just in the matter of time, we should just go ahead and continue this. And the judge goes, no, we're going to get there now. And he thinks that this is all absolutely outrageous. And Richie says, our duty is to protect citizens. And this defendant has years of litigation and a major mental health crisis. Said the confidential informants had come forward saying she needed a wellness check. Now, again, this is what he's saying. I mean, I don't know. And instead, they set up a sting operation. And the judge goes, so are you trying to say this is straight up entrapment? And he said, no. And the judge goes, well, I'm going to give the defense an opportunity. You can file an offer of proof to what you claim is outrageous government conduct. And the state says, the girl, the General Duncan, she was like, I wrote to dismiss ? Oh, Richie says, I do not believe this is entrapment, but he wants this dismissed because he feels like she was in, my interpretation, a mental health crisis, and that instead of checking on her, they instead did a sting operation, and that's why she did this. Oh, yeah, I know, John Smith, yeah. Oh, Jennifer, is it Dungan or Duncan? So she is one of the prosecutors. Let me see, are they listed online? Let's see. Mm, I was very impressed with them because I got to tell y'all last week, I was like, I just feel like they're not, it just didn't feel as, God, that doesn't even look like. So this is the main one. This is Stacy. That doesn't even look like her. Must be an older picture. Her hair's shorter now. So this is Stacy Edmondson. Oh, here we go. All right, Jennifer Mason. Does this not click? Damn it. Oh, Dungan. Yeah, you're right. Senior Assistant District Attorney General. Then we also had Jennifer Mason in there and Lindsay Moreland. And then we have this lady, Stacy Edmondson. All right. So offer of proof is going to be due. Richie's like, I think we can do that by August 28th. And the state objects and asks for September the 8th. And so they each have to write a brief on, so he's going to write a brief on why this should be dismissed over governmental outrageous conduct. And then the state is going to write a brief on why it's not. And they have a page limit. So get this, 10 pages, 12-point, font must be Times. I think he said double spaced. I mean, I'm like, my God, this is like writing an essay in high school. All right. Is Jennifer Dungan online? Yeah. Jennifer Dungan. She had big red spike heels on. I was like, you go, girl. Oh. Again, this is old too. Follow me Friday. I don't have Facebook, so I don't. Follow me Friday. Arrive at court 8 a.m. Ooh. Talk to interns. Get ready for the docket call. Oh, that's the courtroom. Oh, she used to have pink tips. Maybe that's her trademark. I think I saw that guy in there today. Maybe that's the main. I saw her. Oh, that's Marcy. Okay. They're all in there supporting. There's the criminal clerk. Well, this is great. I don't even need a channel. I'm not getting any more comments. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that's the courtroom. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's her Facebook. So that is the summary of today. Now, I am going. Y'all got to hear this. Testing comments. Okay, that came through. Thank you. Oh, you're still here just listening. Okay. StreamYard sometimes just sucks. Yeah, so that's what I'm struggling with, Country Living. For years, and this is why I wanted to read this tonight, because for years she's like, I'm not crazy. But now it's like they want to have a crazy defense. So I think it's hard for the state. Like you can prove she's not stable, but I think we could argue a lot of criminals are kooky, right? I mean, do y'all agree? All right, so this is from their divorce. God, I don't know how they went through this. I mean, mine was pretty vanilla with mediation, and I will just tell y'all, if you've never been divorced, but you will have a lot of diarrhea. And I'm just going to say that. Okay, so this is from November of 2013. This was Judge Philip Smith, who was now deceased, but he was amazing. So It's got all their attorneys. Of course, Angie's had a lot of attorneys because you got to keep paying bills, right? All right. So I want y'all to hear this because her dad testifies. All right. The court witnesses, please step out in the hallway. We'll call you when you're ready. Let me just get down. We're not opposing this motion. Let's see. They're talking about a psych eval. Hold on. Okay. Mr. Parsley, who was Aaron's attorney, still to his attorney to this day in 2026. Your Honor, the next motion is a motion for restraining order for Mrs. Solomon to quit going on the internet and Facebook and saying that the husband has kidnapped the party's minor children. I think there's an agreement on that. So she did. So back in May of 2013, she had a whole incident, which is going to be described in here, and went to the psych hospital, and he did. He had been awarded, for the kids and all that, and then she went on to Facebook saying she needs $17,000 and all this stuff, all the posts and everything. But I'm going to go through this tonight. Her attorney says, Mr. Parsley says, may it please the court, and I certainly understand that maybe the mutual is the expedient thing to do, but they won't have anything here to demonstrate. All right, let's get down to this. They're going through this to try to figure out like the custody stuff. Sorry, there's so many pages. I just want to try to get through like to the good stuff. They're talking about her car, her Tahoe. And her insurance. All right. Let me just get down. Sorry. All right. This might be a good point. The court motion to resolve the restraining order. Let's talk about that. So when she got out of the psych hospital, she went to the court, like filed a restraining order against him, and she supposedly had tried to tie a hairdryer cord around her neck, but claims he did that to try to take her out, and it was just nuts. Her attorney says, to the extent that Your Honor will consider dissolving the restraining order in order to allow supervised contact with the children pending this agreed upon evaluation, to the extent that she can have, limited is what we're asking. The court asked Aaron's attorney, Scott Parsley, we would like proof to be put on if it please the court. The judge, I don't generally allow proof. Mr. Parsley, I'm sorry. The judge, I don't generally allow proof. Why would you be upset with supervised visitation, phone contact, or limited supervised visitation, phone contact, and her to go to the games, Mr. Parsley? Because her behaviors are bizarre, Judge. Since you had entered this restraining order and then you dealt with the order of protection, she has been incessant in the emails and text messages that she sends to Mr. Solomon, where she's going to kill herself. She said she's going to let his dogs die. She has apparently surreptitiously been sending some information to the party's young son saying that daddy has her locked up. He was 11 at this time, y'all. Locked up in the house. She writes a suicide letter that she's going to kill herself. Her parents are here, Your Honor. Circumstances. Unfortunately, wait, did I miss a page? Her parents are here. I think it's something cut off. Mr. Parsley, I'll bring them in, Judge. And the court says, well, first of all, before we get into any of the family members, have you seen these alleged text messages Mr. Parsley has? Her attorney, he showed me. I was just pulling it out. He showed me a document that he thinks she sent to their son. She doesn't recognize it. Okay. Yep. Red flag. She would deny sending it, but at the bottom it appears that it was a conversation between he and an Ethan, but it does say, "Gee, I love you. I'm locked up at home." It never says mom, and she didn't send it. Now she did. After your honor signed the restraining order, Mr. Solomon came back home, and there's some dispute about that. But when between the 10th of May and Memorial Day, when he came back, the children were at home until the 31st, and he left the children in her care alone. Then abruptly, he and the children moved out May 31st. All right, let me get into her dad's testimony. You know what? This is BS. Hold on. I had taken that into Google Docs, and that's what happened. It screwed it up. I love that Scott Parsley is like such a good little advocate for him. Not little, but a good one. Okay, this is sad. All right, so this is her dad, all right? Mr. Huffines. So Angie had apparently alleged to her parents that they had been sexually molesting her and her sister as children. So her dad is Dan Huffines. He's sworn in. This is 2013. Mr. Parsley. Mr. Huffines, Angie Solomon is your daughter. Is that correct? He says that's correct. Did I pose a question to you earlier this morning as to whether or not you would be amenable to supervising parenting times for your daughter and the children? Do you recall that question? Yes, I recall that question. Do you recall your response to me, sir? And he said, I would be very concerned to do that at this time. This is her father. Attorney, did you say you wouldn't want her staying in the house while asleep? Her attorney, object to leading. The court, yes, don't lead. Mr. Parsley, tell us, sir, were you called to your daughter and son-in-law's home by your son-in-law as relates to an attempted unaliving by your daughter? He says, I was notified of that at approximately 3:34 on a Sunday morning. Could you tell us what started it, sir? Well, Aaron called me and told me what had transpired, that he had found my daughter in the bathroom trying to injure herself, whether it be the word that you've used or not, with a dryer cord around her neck, and that he had to fastly get the dryer cord from her neck, and that he did not have time to take a picture with his cell phone. And when he called me, he was outside the house, I think. Did you and your wife go to their home? No, we discussed that, and Aaron milled around the neighborhood there in Green Hills until about 6 a.m. and went back to the house when the children woke up so that they wouldn't be concerned maybe that why daddy was gone. We didn't go, we waited. We just waited for time and prayed to God about this matter. And we went on to our church services that morning. I can't remember exactly when our next conversation with him was. Did sometime subsequent to that, did you have conversations with your daughter as relates to these indictments? No, sir. I had not had any conversations that I know of. I was very concerned about her for this matter, but no conversations. Did you discuss with her getting treatment? Yes, I have. Tell us what discussions you've had with her getting treatment. The attorney says, may I ask how they know about the relevance or what the relevance is? Sure. Did you have these discussions? Her dad, many times on the phone. How recently, sir? Oh, in direct reference to needing help within the last 2 to 5 weeks on different occasions. And what events have caused you concern to have such discussions with your daughter? Well, when you father a child, you know their characteristics and the things and concerns that alert you to differences that are occurring in people's lives. And I think that she would tell you that dad has told her several times that I was just worried about her. That's the word I always used. I use that broadly. Attorney, any particular thing that sticks out in your mind the last couple of weeks that caused concern? Dad, well, no, not that it's caused this concern, other than the fact that I know there's been many episodes of irregularities at their home that has not been what a father or a grandfather would like to know of. Tell me about those. Judge Smith, Tell Judge Smith. Well, Judge, I guess they tell me I have a type A personality, the judge. I don't take that as a bad thing, the witness. I'm not taking that as a bad thing. That's just me. But I saw when we went to help them move from the first location that they moved from in Spring Hill to where they live on Abbott Martin Road, that things weren't right with the house. And I saw things that weren't right with the clothes. I saw that things were not right with the food preparation, the dishes, and all of this. I was really concerned about that. Then, when we received a phone call one night that her husband had been arrested and that he was in jail, I didn't know whether it was Spring Hill or what facility, and that he had struck their son and knocked him to the ground, and they had a neighbor that came to help them. This is just one, Judge. This is just one of the many episodes that we have gone through as a mother and father over the last several months. The attorney, did that happen? Her dad, no, it did not. The attorney, it never happened. Her dad, it never happened. Did you and her mother, Aaron, did y'all take her to Parthenon recently? Which, so y'all know, is a local psych hospital. We took her on a Friday reluctantly. How long ago? The last couple of weeks? It was 4 or 5 weeks ago today that we took her to Centennial, and finally she was admitted to Parthenon sometime during the course of 11:30 and 2:30 in the afternoon, 11:30 at night, because we finally got to leave there because she sent word to us that we didn't need to stay around any longer. We needed to go home. That was worded mildly to me and my wife, though one of the nurses there. So we all left hoping. If I say this out of order, I'm not very versed at what I'm doing. My wife has had problems in the past years, and we felt sure that the first emergency room doctor that talked to us, which was evidently a regular physician, ER physician, he told us that. The attorney objects. Can't tell us what they said. Were you allowed to go see your daughter? No. Did you want to see her? Certainly. No, I take that back. I don't think it would have been good for us to have seen her at the time. I don't think that she would have wanted to see us under the circumstances we had to admit her. The court. Let me ask you, Mr. Huffines, I want you to be specific. What are your concerns right now with behavior or concerns about Mrs. Solomon's mental health issue? Any issues with that? Can you give me some things that you have witnessed or that she has said to you? Miss Miller, not for the truth of the matter. I think it has to do with what the subsequent actions were. Well, it's a statement in response to medical diagnosis or treatment. And then attorney argues. What did you do in response to the conversation? All sustained. Go ahead. You can't tell us what he said. I'm asking, what did you do? What we did was we stayed around until we had personnel from the Parthenon. Well, the things that she has said to my wife are a lot rougher than that, what she has said to me. We'll speak to her in a moment. Tell us what she said to you. She knows how I feel about her. I know that I've told her, I'll try to explain it this way. I've told her that I have thought that there was change that needed to be made. The way she was raising her children, I thought she was being more of a friend than a mother figure, which I think is very interesting because she always talks about how she and Gracie are like best friends. She's got 2 wonderful children, but just to give you an instance, we were fortunate enough to celebrate the oldest one's birthday this past Friday night. And Judge, Your Honor, we just had a much more relaxed atmosphere. And I'm just so hurt that I have to sit here and say these things. But I know if I can, I know the one thing I'm concerned about, I want to see her to where she can reach potential in her life that I know that she has, and I know in a father's opinion, Judge, that she cannot do that from a father's perspective in the condition that she's in at this time. Tell me about the condition itself, the judge says. Okay. And the judge says, I hate to put you in this position, the witness. I'm going to tell you because I love my daughter. She's a compulsive liar. I cannot have a conversation with her. I never look forward to her calling me, although I love to hear her voice and tell me about the actions of the kids. I can never expect to have a conversation with her unless there's some untruth that's going to be told. unless something is going to be stretched. We have taken care of them through a year and a half of both of them having difficult employment situations. Me and my wife have, along with Aaron's parents. I know that we've I know that we've been told many untruths about what we need this money for and what we need that money for. I'm a very tight individual. I worked 37 years in the grocery business, and we gave it because of those two grandchildren, and secondarily, two people that I love, a daughter and a son-in-law, and just hoping we wouldn't get to this point today. But I've seen that. That's the main objective. The judge. Has this extended beyond this period that you're talking about? Has she been untruthful for a long time? Her dad. Absolutely. The attorney. Tell me how many years? Her dad. We've had problems with this for 5 to 8 years, something like that. And I even tried to reason with her and tell her, these are the things that we go through in life sometimes as you get, if I can use the word maybe popular in society. And I had a problem with this because I was coaching. I had a lot of success coaching. I let it get to my head, and the first thing I knew was I was representing things stronger than what they should have been represented. And I told her, I said, you just got to ask God to help you with this, to help you get through this. And with the influence of some wonderful men that I had in our church, I did away with it. Thank you, the judge. Well, I was going to ask, I think you described that. What other issues or concerns? Her dad. Well, I think that she's a very nervous individual. When we're sitting around a lot of times and we're talking, she is fooling with her fingers. And this has been something that has been prevalent with her for some time. I'm just lost for any other descriptions, Your Honor. Attorney, does she lose her temper easily, Mr. Huffines? Her attorney objects, leading. It's posed in the form of a question. The court, I'll allow it. The witness, yes, she does. She takes it after her dad. Could you give the court some examples? Well, I believe my son-in-law has briefed us on. I'm asking about things you've witnessed. The only thing that she lost her temper with me on the phone was the last conversation, 2 weeks ago Wednesday. I was trying to advise her as to what I was wanting to do and why I couldn't come to the phone the time that she had called me on Saturday and why I couldn't give her time then. I told her, I said, yes, I was in the process of trying to get an order made for my store. I said, I'm frustrated with you. Then I called her back Wednesday, and she answered the phone. We were talking for a minute, and our conversation was rather strong to each other, and she finally reined her voice with me and said, now you listen to me, like that, and I just hung up the phone, Your Honor. Has she come to you, Mr. Huffine, suggesting that there's some emergency in her family that required money from you? What has happened? He said, maybe not titled as emergencies, but needs. Did you subsequently learn that she had previously spent the money that you had given her? His attorney says, goes to credibility, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So then they do cross. Would you describe the relationship between you and your daughter as strained? No, ma'am. Why are you here supporting Mr. Solomon? He says, I know my daughter needs, it says physiological help. I think it meant psychological. What day was it when you received the phone call? What call? The call saying Mr. Solomon had found a cord around her neck. That was Sunday morning. You have already told us the time. What date? Oh, I can't give. It was 5 or 6 weeks ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. Was it before the incident you described at Parthenon? Absolutely. About 3 or 4 days before then? Yes, I guess that's correct. What transpired, if anything, between that Sunday morning and the phone call to the day you took her to Centennial? We had discussed her mother, and myself, and her husband, as we had gone as far as we could with trying to entice her and encourage her, and her mother had talked to her excessively in this regard to encourage her to get help. All right. I've missed a lot of comments. Let's see. Sir Tedrick says, to Angie Solomon, face your personal problems. Don't Facebook fake book them. Yes. Oh, Beach Bum, you like my courtroom observations? Thank you. Tater, I told my loser boyfriend one time that kept telling me that I was crazy. So I told him one day, yet you're still here. Get the F out. Yeah. How many kids? Okay, so Ain't No Hollaback Girl. They had 2 children, Grant and Gracie. And Grant died in a really bad accident in 2020. And Gracie is 19 now. She's a freshman in college. Beach bum. She needs help. Yep. Yeah, never ends well. Mother and daughter being friends, absolutely. Sir Tedrick, big red flags that the parents can't really support their daughter. Absolutely. Compulsive liar equals pathological liar. Yeah. I know. I feel so bad for their dad, her ex-husband. Yes, I agree, Sir Tedrick. What noble people. At least the father is being honest before the court, even if it's detrimental to his daughter. Yeah, think about the Blaze Taylor trial, right? Remember that? Her son, literally, they convict him of murder, and then the mom gets on the stand. He is a wonderful child. He graduated college and got a master's degree in 3 years. It's like, yeah, read the room. Keep on and dream on. Got my Graceworks glass. Okay. Honesty is best. Yep. All right. All right. He says, it came to the point we decided on a Thursday. Bless them. I mean, they were just trying to do their best. When someone does have an attempt, though, you should always like put them in a hospital. But I get it. You know, you're thinking children, you don't want to alarm them. I mean, I do. I get it. I do. We decided on a Thursday that we would, of course. Aaron wasn't at that house at that time. He had left. So Jenny and I went down. We waited around until she got off of a conference call, which took probably 3 hours. And finally, when the conference call had ended, I went outside and I texted her husband and told him because he was biding time there in Green Hills. How long had you and your wife been trying to talk your daughter into needing psychiatric help? Months, 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 and months. Had she ever hurt the children during that period of time? I never know if any time that she ever hurt my grandchildren. Had the children been asking for her? I assume that, yes. Not to me, but I understand that to be correct. She missed the birthday party this past week for Grant, did she not? Yes, she did. She missed Mother's Day? Yes, she did. Do you know when the last time was that she saw the children? She would have seen them on the night, the last part of the 36 hours that Aaron came back with the children. That was before they went to bed. This was the court entered the restraining order, correct? Memorial Day, I assume. Did you know when the divorce complaint was filed, just out of curiosity? I don't know the date, but I know that that was on Monday. He called me at my store. He has kept me up to date. Another thing, like, I can only imagine if my ex had called my dad. Called me at my store, and he has kept me to date, along with my wife, on all actions that has occurred with his attorneys. Okay, fun fact, when I was getting my divorce and my dad was standing there, my ex brought son back. I mean, he was 5. And my dad is standing there with a Bible, and he said, "You want to put your hand on here and answer some questions?" And my ex literally like ran out of the house, and my mom grabbed a wooden spoon out of canister by the oven or the stovetop and starts chasing him, yelling, "You're a chicken shit, chicken shit, chicken shit." Well, sure enough, then we get a letter from his attorney that my mom tried to assault him with a wooden spoon. Okay, I digress. All right. Beach Bum, that was when we lived in Roswell too, by the way. All right. Do you support the children not seeing their mother for any time to speak since May 10th? Ma'am, I never support that, but I know as a father and the actions, the subsequent things that has taken place with her in the last several weeks, this is by far what needs to be done at this time. But you haven't been able to tell us anything specific she's done to put them in harm's way. Obviously, you've told us about her inability to tell the truth, right? And you're concerned. This is why you always take notes, everybody. You always take notes because it's just It's just like grocery store, right? You walk in, you're like, crap, what was it that I needed? You always need to be taking notes. Your concerns and issues with her, sir, may I ask, what can you direct us about her links, her behavior to putting the children in fear of harm's way? Well, I can't give you anything definite along that line, but when Aaron wasn't at home and we knew due to the conversation she was having with my wife, we didn't know at any time if the kids would be put in the car and took off. We did not know where they were. That was a big fear that we had. The judge, specifically, what was your concern on that? I mean, I understand you had a concern. I guess what part of her behavior was causing that concern? Was she hallucinating? Was she seeing things that didn't exist? Was she paranoid? Was she, people out to get her? The witness, oh, yes, yes. The court, give me an example of that. I hate to ask you to do that, Mr. Huffines. I just wish I could recall them. She always had a very jealous heart toward her husband, feeling that he was always involved with other women, and she's expressed that to us a lot. And I don't know what kind of illness that would be, under what kind of entitlement that would be under, Your Honor. I just can't give you an exact illness. I just know that I would be very concerned with her being with my grandchildren at this time. The court, even if it were supervised, the witness, I'm afraid then there would be something said that one of those grandchildren would not need to hear. The court. The question, what if Mr. Solomon was having contact, communication, or relationships with other women? What if your daughter was really telling the truth? He says, ma'am, I'm a man of the Bible, and I believe in truthfulness, and I try to, I just despise in my life constantly hearing turmoil and this going on and that going on and this going on. I never believed that. What if I showed you proof? Would you believe that? I would never believe it until you showed me proof. Did she take out an order of protection in 2008? She certainly did, on her father. That's all I have. Thank you. And then Mr. Parsley says, did she dismiss hers the day it was supposed to be heard? No, it stayed in effect the entire time. Did you harm your daughter? Did I what? Did you harm your daughter? No. Did you allegedly threaten her? I told her on the phone that if we couldn't get things straightened out on the phone on the accusations that she had made against her mother and the families, don't act like this, that I will be down there and she don't expect me and address this. And I felt that I had a right as a father to say that. She went and took out the order of protection, didn't she? Well, it was after we came to bring Christmas gifts and knocked on the front door and didn't think there was anyone there. We didn't get to have Christmas with them that year. Alienation. And we decided that we would go ahead and take the Christmas gifts and just see if we could leave them, and no one answered the door. The next thing I know, on a Friday afternoon, I had the city police serve me an order of protection. You had never spoken to her that day. You just tried to leave gifts for the kids. She told us she was scared. Okay, y'all, is this not painting a picture? The court. Was the order of protection granted? My records indicate it was. I did object. We contested it because there was no date on that order. We came here and Judge Wyatt, no, not Judge Wyatt. It's Wyatt, Judge Wyatt, Randall Wyatt. He did. We came down here and contested it on the fact that I wanted my name to not be in the records here in metropolitan Davidson County, and they dismissed it on that ground. But he said he wanted to hear this case and set up another date that we could come back. Then I didn't contest it then. You didn't come back, did you? I just said let it go. John Aaron Holt. Judge Holt. That's who it was. But you never came back to contest it? No, I have no further questions. All right, I don't have any more questions. All right, thank you. You can step down. All right, now here comes Angelia's. Taterbug, yeah, it was a moment. I mean, we have a whole wooden spoon joke in my family, Sir Tedrick. I love your dad. Yeah. Taterbug. I lived in the Atlanta area for 12 years after graduating college. We sure did. Beach Bum, you didn't hear us. I'm glad. Sir Tedrick. Leslie, if it makes you feel any better, my mom assaulted me with a wooden spoon all during my childhood and was needed to correct me. Yeah. Tater. Angie sounds like a walking nightmare. Right? I think the next hearing, I don't know, September 8th. Oh, wow, Fletcher. My first divorce attorney was Joe Haynes, husband of Judge Barbara Haynes. Small world. Okay. Are you Angie Solomon? Yes. What is your profession, Miss Solomon? I'm a pharmacist. I have a doctorate degree. Yeah, they didn't ask that. Okay. Did you work as a pharmacist until September of 2012? Yes. Have you been a stay-at-home mom since? Yes. Was that with your husband's permission as far as you know? Yes, it was. Has there been trouble in your marriage? Yes. For how long? Approximately 5 years. Have you been under the care of a psychiatrist? Within the last 2.5. Yes. What is his name? Dr. Michael Reed. Does he prescribe any medicines for you? He does. He prescribes Prestique and Clonopin. So what, if anything, has occurred that has caused you to put the children in harm's way? Nothing. The court. Let me stop you. What is your diagnosis? I was diagnosed, Your Honor, with depression, and it is now in remission. So now I don't have a diagnosis. That's amazing. Have y'all ever heard of depression being healed so fast? Ever? So you're not seeing a psychiatrist still? Continue to see, but I have no access to any depression in my charting. Are you still on medication? Yes. The judge. Well, why is he prescribing that medication if you don't have an ailment or a disorder? The witness. Currently, we're working to get off both medications. Now, we've talked about y'all weaning off SSRIs, but because of the severity of the situations personally that I'm going through right now, he felt it best that I wait until things calm down a little bit in my life before we started reversing that. And I agreed with that. Did an incident occur that caused your mom and dad and your husband to take you to Centennial Hospital? Yes. What date was that? Of the incident, the date that you were taken? The date I was taken on the 10th, but I refused Joni to go with them. Does she call her mom her first name? I felt safer to go with police, ambulance, or any other escort that would take me. So I actually went in the ambulance. So is your daddy correct when he says he and his wife and husband took you? No. You went by ambulance? That's correct. I refused to go. Who called the ambulance? Aaron called someone. I don't know who he called, but he did call someone. How long did they keep you? I was there from, I guess, 1:30 on Friday the 10th until looking at medical records so I can be accurate. I don't have them here. Around 8:30 or 9 on Saturday. It might have been the 11th. So she's saying she was there a day. Were you suicidal? No. Had there been an incident that occurred the Sunday before? No. Did your father get a call from Aaron on Sunday? That I know of. No, that I don't know unless I looked at the phone records. So he described an incident where you put a cord around your neck, right? Did that occur? No. Did you know that your father is talking about? I have a feeling I know what he's talking about. Did a situation develop between you and your husband that caused you to take out the order of protection against him? Yes. And did you stand by the version of how you typed it and how it is written in your order? I did not, in fact, write that, but I stand by it. I might have added some to it. So why did you dismiss the order of protection? Because through third party, which are my parents, it was related to me that if that was dismissed, then the restraining order and the divorce would all be dismissed because they weren't, quote, real. So I obviously wanted to make things right with my family, and I dismissed my order of protection and immediately was served with the restraining order and divorce. And did your husband come home after the restraining order was signed? Yes, ma'am. How long or how many days were he and the children there? They came home on Memorial Day for about 4 or 5 hours with my parents there to supervise. Aaron came back on Tuesday by himself, and on that day, we had relations. And then on Wednesday, he brought Gracie back home. Grant was staying with a friend, and Thursday, the four of us went to pick up Grant. Then we obviously all moved back in, including the two dogs. Then on Friday morning, when I awoke, They were all fine. The 2 dogs were still there. So did you miss Mother's Day and your child's birthday? Yes, ma'am. Have you gotten to talk to either child on the phone? No. Have you gotten to see either child since May 31st? No. When he was there a few days before May 31st, did he leave you alone with the children? Sure. Why are you willing to have supervised visitation until a psychological can be done? It's very simple, Your Honor. And Joni, who is Joni? Oh, Joni must be her attorney, Joni Abernathy. I got it now. I will do anything. Her mom's Jenny. That's why I was confused. I will do anything at this point to be able to see my babies. Do you have people willing to supervise? I do. Who are here today? Yes. Is one a psychiatric nurse retired? Another one a pediatric nurse retired? Correct. And do you have other friends that can supervise? Yes, I have many. You are also musically inclined. Am I correct? Yes. How long have you been singing or entertaining? What? I've been musically inclined since I was born, but I actively singing since I was 7, then performing in bands up until my age today. Is this true? Do you describe your relationship with your mother and father as strained? Yes, significantly strained. We'll get into money later. Well, I have a couple of questions about it. I can get to that later on, but both these parties are unemployed. I don't know what I'm going to do. How were the bills being paid before May the 10th or before the divorce was filed on the 13th? She says, Aaron would pay the bills. What source of funds was put into the joint account to pay the bills? Money from his trust, a trust that he received. Did you give me a withdrawal slip from the joint account that showed he withdrew $10,000 on the day he filed for the divorce? Yes. May I? Yes, that's it. May I have this marked as an exhibit? Did that leave you any money in the account after the divorce was filed? Joni, there's approximately $753 left in the account. Because of the circumstances that I was left in, I was not able to go immediately to get that money. I'm sure we'll discuss that later, but when I did withdraw, I withdrew $700. Had I not gotten it on that Tuesday, there were checks written, and those checks would have not put that account over on the following Wednesday. So actually, there was $200 left for me in the account. Have you had any money since May 13th? I think I've had $300 from the joint account. Except for borrowing money, of course. Exactly. Or friends or strangers. What will the joint bank records show was the source of the deposit that was supporting your family? Angie, without seeing it in front of me, I can tell you that it would say something similar to deposit for Aaron Solomon out of the Ruth estate, which is a trust. That's a relative of his who set up a trust? Yes. When was the last time he was employed? I really need to look at a calendar. So I believe it was a Thursday. I don't know. Who drove the Tahoe? I did. How is it that you paid for it? By the bills. When he paid the bills, meaning the joint account? Yes, ma'am. Just out of curiosity, who wrote the check for the last Tahoe payment? I did. So he didn't restrict your use of spending the trust deposits that were made into the joint account? No, Joni, he actually asked me to make the payment because he was afraid it would be taken, the Tahoe. So you wrote a check for 3 payments to catch it up? Yes, I did. When was the last time you saw the Tahoe? On the 10th. Well, actually, I did see the Tahoe when I came home Memorial Day weekend. When was the last time you got to drive the Tahoe? The morning of the 10th, when I dropped the children off at school. Did he ever drive the Tahoe? He would drive it together as a family, but he drives the car his mother gave him. Where's that car now? It's parked in my driveway and locked. All right. Have you been interviewing for pharmacist jobs since you were served with the divorce? Yes, I have. Do you need transportation in order to get a job, to keep a job? Yes. How much money are you asking for groceries, food, clothes, gas until we can do something further? I know we had one column just for the children and then one column just me, just for you. As for me, I'm not sure without looking at it. I think it was around 2,800, and we weren't sure about the insurance at that point. That pushed it up a little higher, but probably around 3,000. Do you have any source of money? No, not now. Do you have any food in your refrigerator? No. How often do you want to see the children under the visitation supervision? How often? Well, Your Honor, as much as possible. For the record, let's refer to her as Miss Abernathy. Miss Abernathy, as much as possible. You will take anything? Yes, I guess that's all. Mr. Parsley. You didn't try to hurt yourself, Miss Solomon? No, sir. You didn't? No. Let me ask you about this email to your husband dated May 31st. Do you have a copy? I have. Do you recognize that document? Yes. Did you write that? I did. My life, Angie Solomon. I love you more than words can say, Aaron. I never thought you would do this to me. As years go by, do you realize I didn't deserve this torture? But it's over for me now. You live with it. What does that mean? He had left with the children when I woke that morning. They were gone. I was very desperate and frantic to find them. That line basically means it's over for me and you, obviously. Let's jump up 2 paragraphs. I love you forever, my best friend. I'll always be watching over you. Wish I had got to kiss and hug you one more time. What did you mean by that? I wish I got to kiss and hug him one more time. I wish I got to kiss and hug him one more time. Well, I did. They were gone, and he wouldn't respond to any of my texts or calls. I did wish. I knew they were gone. My mother told me they were gone. Let me have ask you about some texts. Well, let me ask you, because I've got more questions. The judge. Mr. Parsley, I can zero in on it pretty quick. The judge, Mrs. Solomon, I'm going to say, Mrs. Solomon, that doesn't read that way to me. Then you say up here, and I haven't even read the full paragraph, but just go to 2 lines about, above. It says, so this is my last writing on this earth. I mean, when I read that, that just really kind of tells me your interpretation of what you're telling me is not really true. Mr. Parsley, may I ask another? Judge, go ahead and ask. I'm sorry to interrupt. Question. I guess I will prepare for what exists for the cowards on the other side. On the other side of what? Angie, I'm not sure what that was. I know that any time in the past that I don't bridge into this discussion. But if I let Aaron think something is going to happen, or if I take ownership of things, he comes home. It didn't happen this time. Manipulator. So I've never wanted to hurt myself, but this pain and uncertainty is unbearable. What does that mean? It was unbearable. So this isn't a letter where you insinuate you're going to kill yourself? This was to try to get him to come home, she says. So I wrote it. Maybe it's a mistake that I wrote it, but if you lived with us, you would understand why I wrote it. This is a hearing for her children. Attorney, so it's your testimony. You were making up stuff, making up lies to get what you wanted then? No, I felt it was unbearable pain. Let's do another. You've been pretty prolific in sending texts to them, don't you? Yes, I've counted them with you. Let's talk about some you sent on May the 9th. The bottom of the page, Mrs. Solomon, a copy for your honor. From Aaron. Do you see that? The 3rd sentence from the bottom, Mrs. Solomon. And I have a picture of you in the shower when you tried to hang yourself with a hairdryer, and you respond, oh, Aaron. Flip over to the next page. You see where your husband responded, and let's look what you say, the 4th line down from Angie. You took a picture before you tried to help me? That shows me where this has gone. Just go find another. I staged that anyway, but who cares? Use it against me. Now I'm a complete wreck. I won't be making any field trip or to the school. Move down to another. I'm beyond hysteria. Got to calm down. All I wanted was to be loved, nothing more. Unfortunately, I wouldn't kill myself, but you would memorialize my faking it to get attention and use it against me instead of love me. So he did find you in the shower with the hairdryer cord around your neck, didn't he? No. You're still going to deny it? I can't state that's what my text. It's not your text? I don't see my number on there. You don't? So it's your testimony that this didn't happen? These texts did not occur? Would you repeat that? It's your testimony these texts did not happen? You didn't write this text? These series of texts, did you? I don't recall that in that way, and I don't see my number. What's your number? Okay, she says 615, blah, blah, blah. Is it your testimony under oath in front of Judge Smith today that these texts do not emanate from your cell phone? Is that correct? Because I'm going to show them to you. You can show them to me, but I'm not saying that I did it. This is like teenager. Can you not remember, ma'am, if you did these texts or not? I don't recall those texts, no. Did you erase texts from your phone? Okay, this is a Wendy quote right here. I frequently erase text from my phone, but I don't recall writing this series of texts at all. Is this nuts? Okay. I gotta scroll up. Beach Bum, what are the meds for? Yeah, Beach Bum. Can you imagine living with that witch and relations means clock starts all over? If that's even, I mean, like, I wouldn't, how do you believe anything? But this just shows, so all of this was well before all these other allegations, right? It's manipulative tactics. Hey, cynical. This is from 2013. This was a hearing after her stay in the psych hospital during their divorce. Cynical. Why can't she get a job? She's educated. Go get a freaking job, right? I mean, she should be making really good bank, but she's been, I think, on disability for, I don't know, a long time. Wait until the affidavit from one of her coworkers. Y'all will die. Where'd the Taha go? Yeah, I don't know. Thank you, Sir Tedrick. Leslie, Angie needs to be put away from what you are reading tonight. And the parents, oh my, she is a danger. I agree. And I fear, I mean, honestly, for myself now reading all this, but really for Aaron and for the other people. There's a lot of people out there that are nutso. Taterbug, Cinders, all these crazy people have too much time on their hands. They need about 3 jobs and they won't be committing crimes, right? Yeah, it's just like teenagers. They need lots of hobbies. She is scary for real. Cat ride. I feel bad for her daughter. I know. And I mean, this was 13 years ago. So, you know, kids are sponges, right? They're forming their character and everything. They say that they're pretty much, their character and everything's formed by the time they're 11, 12. That is so true, Tater. We live in a digital age now. Everything you say and do is recorded and tracked. Did y'all see on the news? I saw that all the flocked cameras all over Texas. This man is going around the city. I think was it in Dallas? He has ladders and he has these black bags and he's putting them over all the flocked cameras because he says it's infringement of his rights. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Tater, it's a manipulation tool for narcissists. Beach Bum. This case, y'all, is going to be a doozy. At least this victim is still among us. I know. I very much worry about him. Well, there's no sightings in the wild right now. I mean, other than what I saw today, because she can't go anywhere right now. Yeah, cynical, run, Aaron, run. I know, but he needs to be in the witness protection program. I know. I think about a hairdryer cord, and I think, I mean, my hairdryer cords aren't that long. Hey, Ohio Palm Mom. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, Beach Bum, can you imagine being the friend that signed her $250,000 bail? Oh my God. Cynical. She needs to touch some grass and reevaluate her life choices. I know. For her parents to do that, that tells you these people are amazing, wanting to protect them. Oh, the disability. I think I've read it's PTSD. You know who this kind of reminds me of? Is a little bit of Sarah Boone. And a little Wendy. I mean, it does. Okay. All right. She says she frequently erased text. The attorney. Let's move on. 2 more pages back, ma'am. Top of the page. From Angie. Sending out my picture you made before helping me. You tried to hang me. So it's your testimony that your husband tried to hang you? Angie. Yes. Why didn't you go through with this order of protection when the man tried to hang you from the shower nozzle with the blow dryer cord? I'm sorry, what? Why didn't you go through with this order of protection? Why did you come up here and tell Judge Smith you didn't want it? Because it was through a third party, my family, that if I dropped the order of protection, that there was no divorce, There was no restraining order and that he was coming home. And actually, Mike told my attorney that day. I don't know who Mike is. Let's move on a couple more pages before you start. 5 o'clock in the morning on May 9th. Judge, I apologize for these being numbered. They are prolific. We didn't have time to get them all. The witness, I'm sorry, where are you at? On the top of the page where it begins with the date, May 9th, 5:18 a.m. That should be 7 page back, Mrs. Solomon. Tell me when you're there. May 9th, 2013, 5:18? Yes, ma'am. From Angie. I'm hurting badly in my back. I'm sure I did all of this to myself, of course. No field trip, no school, no rehearsal, no Dr. Reed, no practice. I don't know what practice. I guess that means practice, correct? I don't know. You don't know? You didn't text that, correct? No, I do not recall texting that. Let's go down a couple more paragraphs from Angie. You're gone. That's all I know since 4 a.m. You broke my trust and called my parents on me again. You took your picture of me before helping me. That's real concern for a situation in my life. I'm hurt you weren't here. What picture are you making reference to that he says he took of you? Well, again, if I don't recognize these texts, then I don't know what I would be referencing unless you're trying to draw me back to the initial conversation. That's not what I'm going to do. Attorney, let's assume you didn't send any of these texts. Did you have any discussion with your husband about him taking a picture of you in the shower? Yes. And what were you concerned about if you had not tried to harm yourself? Why would it make a difference if he took that picture? I did not try to harm myself. I was concerned that he didn't dial 911 instead of taking a picture of me. I'm sorry, one more time? That he wouldn't have dialed 911 if he had tried to harm me than to take a picture of me. I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. We had a conversation face to face about it. He said he made a picture of me in the condition he left me in. What condition he left you in? Pardon? What condition did he leave you in, ma'am? He left. What condition he left me in? Yes, ma'am. What condition? I was without the cord on my neck and out the door attending to my son who was awakened by the entire ordeal. Okay, I didn't hear you. You were what? Let me go back and let you maybe ask the question again. You just said something about a cord around your neck? Yes, I took that off and ran out of the bathroom. He was gone and Grant was awake in the bed. How did you get a cord around your neck, ma'am? He put it there. He put it there. Then he went and called 911. I said no. That was my concern was when we had our personal conversation one-on-one was why would you make a picture of me instead of calling 911? Attorney, let me ask you this. Let me pass this email up. So I assume you had been emailing him, weren't you? I'll give you mine. You see this in front of you? Yes. Did you write this email? May I read it? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. I'm going to mark this exhibit. Okay. Let me read the third sentence. I am not suicidal. I made a bad choice for attention, but I accept responsibility for that choice and have learned why I did it and won't repeat it. What bad decision did you make for attention? I didn't make any bad. I didn't make any bad. I know what that email says. What are you talking about in this email? In order for Aaron to stay at home with me, I had to take ownership of what has happened. Tell us what you're taking responsibility for. What bad choice you made. What were you trying to do to get attention? I didn't take responsibility for what happened in the shower that night so that he will come home and protect his public image. So what you're telling us, Mrs. Solomon, is in this email, this is a copy for your honor. In this email, you lied to Mr. Solomon and about trying to harm yourself to get attention never happened, right? I'm not going to say that I lied and it never happened. I don't suppose you would say that you lied. I understand that. The judge, Mr. Parsley, let me stop you. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you. A lot of your testimony isn't adding up to me. I love judges for this because they just see through it. That's what I always tell people. When my friends are going through divorces, I'm like, trust me, they see through it all. This email on May the 16th, and I think it was before you were served with the divorce. May the 16th, I actually knew about the divorce. The judge, you knew about it, and it hadn't been served? The witness, correct. The judge says hear from you at 4:04:38. Subject still throwing up. It's 3:55. It happens every night. I'm worrying about you guys. I hope G and Gigi's little minds are okay. I have never got over my mom being removed from me. I never was sure that was around the next door. Dr. Murphy is concerned for them too. I am not suicidal. I made a bad choice for attention, but I accept responsibility for that choice and have learned why I did it and won't repeat it. The witness, The judge, Mrs. Solomon, this question is a very important question, and it could be a key to this case. I want you to explain to me why you would put that language, I made a bad choice for attention, in this correspondence. And again, this is a watershed moment in this case, okay? The witness, The judge, why did you put that in there? Angie, because in our marriage, when anything went awry or there was any violence, as long as I took ownership of it, Aaron would come home and I would still have a marriage. The judge, and this is a man who you said put a cord from a hairdryer around your neck? Angie, yes. The judge, why would you want that man back? Angie, that's a watershed moment, Your Honor. Oh, interesting. Mirrored language. We all know about that in the crime world. I want him back because I love him. I love him then. I loved him then when he came back. Memorial Day, everything had so-called worked. Then he took the kids out on Thursday. I got up Friday morning. They were gone. At that point, I was done. But what you're saying to me doesn't make sense. Angie, which part? Well, the part that you say, if you take ownership, he'll come back home. I mean, I'm going to, Mr. Parsley, I'll interrupt your thought, Judge. I think I can conclude this rather quickly. Mrs. Solomon, if you would please, ma'am, there are texts related to May 31st, 2013. 7th line from the bottom. I'm hysterical. I'm ending it all. Did you text that? I do not recall that. I do not see anything on here that says I did. The judge, I'll tell you what. Let's do. Mr. Solomon, do you have it on your phone? Mr. Solomon, which set of texts? His attorney, most respectfully, we'll submit these. We did these for convenience to read them, but they're on me. We've got them. The judge, I want to show it on the phone. Let me say this. What is it dated? May the 31st, Your Honor, the court. She should still have it on her phone because there's a statutory injunction that prevents her from, and Scott, Mr. Parsley says, against destroying evidence. The judge, to prevent her from deleting any text messages. Her attorney, here's her phone, so find it on your phone. Your Honor, I'm sorry. We have like 80 pages and we're trying to cull the most important ones. Forgive us. Judge, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 5 minutes. I've got a sandwich back there. I'm going to eat it real quick. Mr. Parsley, how many? Judge, one for me. Why don't you and Miss Abernathy look at those texts? And then there's a break. Okay. Ohio Mom, you're listening while grocery shopping? Oh, I'm sorry, Tater. Who's your hero? I had forgotten. You'll have to tell me. Yes, Cat Ride. Every child wants their mother's love. Look, any parent rejects a child or does that, it messes someone up, but Tater, Angie is PTSD. Yeah, I know, cynical. We all have PTSD. I've been diagnosed with PTSD, and guess what? It's okay. I mean, and you're back to listening. Thanks, y'all, for being here. Cynical. PTSD is, to many, simply a cop-out for not wanting to take accountability. Grow up and take some responsibility for what you do and who you are. Everyone has free will and choices. I agree. I absolutely agree. Cynical. She got PTSD after their breakup, so she attempted to hire a hitman. Would that cure, right? I don't think she'll take the stand. I'd bet a lot of money on that. I'm pretty sure her attorney's not going to do that. Cynical Cinders. Abuse can definitely cause PTSD, but at some point you have to choose to continue being a victim or moving on. I'm not sold Aaron abused her. She's just yeah, absolutely. I agree. A lot of people lie. Cynical. I would walk away. I know. And it's just so hard when you've got kids in it because then you're like, well, crap, I don't want my kids alone with this person, right? I mean, hello, Lindsay Clancy Trawl. Mm, I know. I mean, there's so much more to this. I hate to. Oh, I know. A psych eval. But I wonder if she's one of these people that can like pull them over. Okay. Attorney's back. We're almost finished with her. We have scrolled the cell phone appropriately. She identified her phone number. I have a couple of questions I want to ask her just to see this tech stuff out. I want to know what your honor wants. I would like to do this first. 7 lines from the bottom. I'm hysterical. I'm ending it all. Did you text that? May I look? You don't know if you told him you were going to end it all? I don't recall telling him I'm going to end it all, but I know that I would get him to come back home. Let's go down a little bit. You aren't responding, and so I assume the worst. You were gone, and you took my babies again. I won't be alive through this day. Did you text that? Again, I would have to look here to see if I texted that. I don't recall. But there was so much pain, and my heart was so broken. I'm surprised I didn't go through with it that day. I wasn't going to hurt myself, but I was heartbroken. Let's flip to another page. About halfway down the page, you are taking y'all back to Lake House forever to leave mommy. I found one bullet in the chamber, and I left a note for the babies. Oh my God, I hadn't read this. I can't live this way. What should he interpret that text from you, ma'am? When you say there's a bullet in the chamber and you left a note for the babies, what does that mean? I was going to end it, I guess, but I didn't have any bullets. So you were lying? No. So you were telling the truth? I wanted to look it up on here, right here, to be sure. Oh my God, this is like maddening. Look it up. Be mindful, Mrs. Solomon, that Judge Smith, he sees your text there too. May I object to Mr. Parsley making comments? Judge, yes, I'm going to ask both counsel to approach at this point. That wasn't appropriate. I'll strike that for the record. Oh, I thought you wanted us to approach, Your Honor. I'm sorry. The witness, I have a 10:46 a.m. right here, but I have May 31st. So you don't have them on your phone? What does it say? I said on May 31st, I said, I'll be a good wife and won't ask any questions. I don't want to die. Please help me. Judge, wasn't there more to it? I guess she should tell you, Your Honor. I guess if you take that literally as die, but if you also take it as your heart's broken and you're hurting so bad, you're going to die. The judge, let me see your cell. The witness, yes, go ahead. The judge, wait a minute now. There's more to this message than you read. Oh, yes. Interesting when people take stuff out like that. Says this on your phone. Ma'am says, you're taking y'all back to the lake house to forever leave mommy. I found one bullet in the chamber and I have left a note for the babies. I can't live this way. Counsel, she just told this court that was not on that cell phone. The witness, right. I thought you were wanting 1102. Oh my gosh, she's so manipulative. Judge, does it have to be an entry subsequent to that says I called mom and told her and dad goodbye. I never wanted to hurt myself, but I can't stand this pain. You won't talk to me. You took my children. All right, they're going back and forth about what time it is and the one bullet. So you don't have an entry. I guess this is it for the old Ange. I'm scared to do this, but I can't live without you, Gracie, and Grant. Here goes. What was on the phone, Your Honor? What time was it? Judge, it's subsequent to 10:40. Okay, I guess this is it for old Ange. I'm scared to do this, but I can't live without you, Grant and Gracie. Here goes. Yes, that's on there. Without you, high-tech texting, Judge. I'm concerned about this one that says, I called mom and told her and dad goodbye and everyone if I hurt myself. I hope one bullet will do the trick. That should be shortly thereafter. Judge, it's not on there. Judge, it's the next one. Please don't do anything drastic. I love you. The kids love you. That was from Aaron. Okay. Says, you ne'er to get more help. I guess that's a typo. Seriously, I'm not playing any games. I'm worried about you. Yeah, what a terrible husband. Um, I'll let him looking for that. All right, then they go on, and then attorney moves on to money. Let me ask you something. You told His Honor that you don't have any money, but you raised $17,000 over the internet by telling people he stole your babies. What did you do with that money? First of all, I didn't tell anyone I needed 17,000. Did you raise 17,000? No. How much did you raise? So far, I've only been able to acquire 3,900. So you're not broke, are you? I don't have that money because I use it to retain my attorneys until I could pay the balance. The judge, why would you tell people he had stolen your babies? I mean, I signed a restraining order, ma'am. If anybody is to blame, it's me. Angie, that was a prayer chain. That was started by a young lady at Hope Conrad at Grace Christian. That was what it was intended to be. I didn't do anything until I was texted. I think it was the next day, and I said, it's getting out of hand on here. I actually came on and realized somebody got onto my Facebook account. So I said, let's take this thing down. I don't want to do these things to hurt Aaron, the children, or me. Just please pray for all. And I thanked Hope. Attorney, if we could, Judge, on June the 7th, we filed this motion for a restraining order. We attached the Facebook chain on that. Let me say, if I may, let me read this. You stated in this chain, I love you. I shouldn't be leaving until noon. Call in the bank right now. I have until then to get money, $17,000. That's your writing, Angie. No, I didn't need $17,000. Ma'am, it's your testimony that you did not put that entry on Facebook chain or whatever when you were trying to raise $17,000. That is correct. But it is my testimony that I did come on around 11, somewhere the next day and say, I've got to take this change down. Ma'am, how much have you paid these lawyers? I object. Yes. I didn't raise it on the Facebook account. Where did you get that money? How much did you pay your lawyers? Again, Miss Abernathy, I'm concerned about you. You're worth every penny you got and more. And let me say, I think I do need to hear what money has come into her hands. There's an issue of temporary support here. Is this not wild? John Smith, I think of Lori Vallow too. Remember, Lori Vallow passed a psych eval right before she caused the death of her husband and two children. Very, very concerning. Aw, cynical. I didn't even have parents. I grew up in the system, so I look at family dynamics very differently than most. Though I have an infinite amount of love for my siblings, just never had parents. Oh, sorry. Chad Daybell. Oof. You hear we're a family at work. I hate that damn saying. I'm like, I don't want to be family with these people. Cynical says, I wonder, is Angelia was always this loopy and it just grew on her? Did Aaron see this craziness and thought I need to put a ring on it? I don't know. I know that like Grant was born and then they got married after that. I don't know. I think sometimes people can suppress a lot of crazy, and then as you get older, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. She does not have blue eyes, I don't think. I think they're brown. Cynical, filled with greed and rage, yes. They love bomb you. Yep. This is manipulation on the stand. No, I didn't say that. Oh, I said this. Going back and forth right there with the judge. She says she's paid her lawyers $3,900. Now, you then send the children certain things telling them that you're locked up at the house, right? No. That their dad let me ask you some things. pull these conversations up on your phone that you had with Grant on June 3rd. So he's 11 and she's texting him stuff. You said you didn't say that. Go to your phone, pull it up. June 3rd. It may not be exactly 12:53, but a minute before there. See, Grant, he won't be on here. We don't communicate. Ma'am, you got a text message. Just check, please, ma'am, and see if you have a text. I did. We don't communicate via text messages. Like, I can't communicate with my iPhone to his iTouch. Let me pass Grant's iTouch up to you and see if you said these statements. That's your phone number at the top. That's what we're looking at. I haven't moved it. I'm just trying to see it. Tell Judge Smith what your phone number is again, ma'am. That's my number. That's your son's iTouch. So you're saying to the judge you didn't send those? I don't recall sending those, no. I got to get y'all. This is what she sent to Grant. But I don't know where you are. Erase everything I send you. You didn't tell him to erase everything you send him then either, did you? No, I wouldn't want him to erase everything I send him. I mean, he didn't. I mean, it's here, right? Why would you tell a child to erase communications? I did not tell him to erase communications. The judge, Mr. Parsley, I've heard enough from her. Let me hear from Mr. Solomon. Okay, Judge, I hate to say it, but I've got 60 or 70 more pages, but another day, I guess. The judge, another day. Your Honor, we would like to enter those next exhibit, whatever sequential order. Is there any objection? No. All right. Empty and dark eyes. Tater, you have a lot of clients that have become family. Well, hair, you're like a therapist, right? I mean, I bet hair folks, you get all the good tea. John Smith, this woman is back crap crazy, in my opinion. I know. This right here is all, like, this should just be the evidence right here. This is what frustrates me, though. This is publicly available on CaseLink. And all these people have believed all these stories through the years. I think if they had read this, they would have gone, yeah, I don't know. Because when those people, like, I'm sure like your kids, or you ever heard, my son had a friend that would be like, yeah, we went to the beach and I got bit by a shark. And they're just like, it's always like all these crazy stories. You're like, really? What are the odds? So, okay, let me get this right. So you're going to claim that your husband, SA'd you, and that he SA'd your daughter, and that he murdered your son, and all these things. Like, come on. Oh, well, there you go, cynical. How can she afford lawyers if she only has disability checks? Well, you will notice in the file that there's always these withdrawal motions because, attorneys like to be paid. They like to be paid. So her attorney now is doing it all pro bono. He's moved here from California. Stealing from thrift stores and mooching off her friends. Yeah, but she's mooched enough that people are kind of over it at this point. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I wish some more people would come forward. If anybody is watching this that ever gave to the GoFundMe's that, nobody can seem to know where it all is now, you need to file a complaint. You can file something with the IRS. You need to let the DA know. You need to let people know, but they can't proactively go after that. You need to let people know. Yeah, theft charges. A therapist. Yeah. We didn't know. We needed you to yeah, I know. Yeah, this is all about PR. But, what is it Trump used to always say? That there's no such thing as bad PR when you get your name out there. I mean, it is. It's interesting on Facebook, like on the news stations and stuff. He's always commenting, tagging. It's free PR. But you know what they say? I will never forget my first day of marketing or in college. Written on the marker board, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. And that's probably the best lesson you can say, because nothing is free. Everything comes at a price. right? So there is some more. We don't have to hear Aaron's, but I want y'all to hear what the judge orders with the finances. I mean, I can go back and read this, but I'll just I'll cut to the chase like the judge said today. I want y'all to hear, I mean, he gives great testimony, talks about how she's mad at him because she wants to make Grant's bed, and then he says, do it. And then she like throws a fit because nobody's helping her. It's that kind of stuff. But I want y'all to hear what the judge's orders. I've never heard of anything like this. This was a great judge, Judge Philip Smith. He says some great stuff. I want what he orders financially. All right, so the judge, Mr. Solomon, you may step down. Okay, we've got the Volvo and Tahoe worked out. By about 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, she will receive the Tahoe, he'll receive the Volvo. I don't know what I'm going to do about paying the note. Neither one of these parties are employed. This is not a good situation at all. I heard the testimony of Mr. Huffines, Angie's dad, who was a very believable person, although he didn't testify much in the way of specifics. Perhaps the most damaging testimony to Mrs. Solomon came from Mrs. Solomon herself. Simply stated, Mrs. Solomon, I do not believe you. Mic drop. I do believe you attempted to commit unaliving. I do believe it may have been for purposes of getting his attention. I don't know why, but I'm very concerned about you, your mental health, and your recent behavior. I believe you texted your son. I do not believe for a minute that you didn't, and I'm going to be quite frank. I am concerned about the safety of these children, even in a supervised situation. At this time, I'm not going to award any parenting time until I get Dr. Freeman's report. Ma'am, this is not to punish you. It's not your interest that I have to look to. It's the best interests of these two minor children. And I am very concerned about your mental state. And I don't know whether one of these times you're going to be serious regarding a threat or whether it's just to get attention. But what I'm concerned about is if you decide to do it when these children are with you. So I'm extremely concerned at this point in time. I do think that you need to get help. Dr. Freeman will help us to ascertain what kind of help you need. I hope you get it for the sake of both of you, the two children, and most of all, but to less extent, Mr. Solomon and your parents. I hope that you do because, I'm looking at Mr. Solomon testify in his hesitancy in answering Miss Abernathy's questions. I know that he still loves you. I know that he doesn't want this divorce, but he doesn't see any other way. It's really up to you at this point. So at this point in time, until we get the evaluation back from Dr. Freeman, I'm not going to allow any parenting time. This is something that I don't think I've done in the past, and my concerns are that great. How about that? Yes, right? Is that not right? Yes, Gary. First time I've heard a judge say enough of her. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Beach bum snap. Cynical boom. Yeah, simply put, I don't believe you. Yet cynical, right? He saw right through it. I don't believe you. I remember he started out with the attorney like, I normally don't do this in these kind of cases. And the attorney's like, this is from 2013. I mean, it's 13 years, but to me, it speaks to character, right? You don't do all this and then, oh yeah, everything is all good now. We have a pattern. There's a pattern of this. Listen to this. Mr. Solomon, in regard to the support, sir, we're going to have to do what we have to do. I don't believe she is in a condition to work at this point. She's going to have a place to live. You are unemployed. I know you're getting these emergency distributions from your trust if you can take them, but I'm going to order the sum of $2,000 a month to be paid to Miss Abernathy. Okay, that is Angie's attorney. And Miss Abernathy, I want you to write a check for her rent. Judge, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. They're living in a marital residence. It's been in bankruptcy. They haven't come after them. They haven't paid a house note in 4 years. She can still live there. Okay, then there's no rent on that. Okay, I'm still going to order the same amount, but Miss Abernathy, you're going to pay, so her attorney, the electric bills, what other utility bills are there. I would like for you to somehow investigate. I'm going to make her responsible for the Tahoe payment out of that right now since she doesn't have rent to pay. I'd like to investigate the opportunity for you to buy cards that can be used at Kroger grocery store for food. I don't want to put any money in her hands right now. And then Aaron's attorney, Kroger has those little debit cards. You can preload them. The judge, yes, they may be able to be used elsewhere. I don't know, but I'd like to do that. Her attorney, we'll figure it out. The judge, I'll revisit this in 90 days. I'd like to do it on a Friday. And at that point, I want to know where Mrs. Solomon is. I hope that she is through treatment and has a job at that point. Mrs. Solomon, I've got to say, I think these were self-unaliving attempts or threats to commit. I simply do not believe you. All right. So how about that? Yeah, cynical. This was years ago. At that point, she should have made changes in her life. Yeah, I don't. But when people, we're trying to be rational with irrational people. I know you said, what did she think she was going to gain? She's already blown through his money and then the legal fees. Yeah. And wait till you hear like the friend's testimony about all these things that were bought. Oh, wait, there is something that it's about so remember when she was complaining she didn't have any food, but she had $753 and all she did was go to Dick's Sporting Goods and just bought stuff. And he's like, you went to Dick's? She's like, I went to Dick's. And they just have piles and piles and piles of stuff. It's like a compulsive behavior. You know what, when people have that shopping addiction and it's like that instant high they get when they spend money. Yeah, she's in no condition to be out of jail. I agree. I mean, part of me wants to just send this to the judge. Like, have you read this? Have you read this? Sounds like it's gotten worse. Yeah. Yeah, this is from November 2013. She didn't make any improvements. She actually got worse and diabolical. Some people don't want to change and would rather lose it all than admit they are wrong. Yep. Simone, you are essential. The world just doesn't know it. Even small children know this, as my twin boys only wanted Veronica to cut their hair. Aw. Yeah, cynical. Spoiler alert, she did not get a job. I know she told the TBI guy that, oh, I'm a pharmacist. I mean, I'm not working right now. I'm on disability. Where's the money that was raised? Well, cat ride. It's a good question, but according to depositions that we've seen and questions that are asked, DoorDash, J. Crew, lots of things, CarMax, but they've got it all. It's all been subpoenaed, but yeah, very impulsive. I don't know who pays her bills. That's a very good question. I mean, she rents, but I don't know if someone's letting her live there for free. I mean, her friend that's driving her around that's been speaking on podcasts apparently signed her bond, $250,000. That friend walked in today. She had her Gucci tote. Yeah, I've wondered that, Ohio Palm Mom. I mean, do y'all think that the prosecutor has seen this? I mean, should I send it to him? What are y'all's thoughts? Should I send this to General Edmondson? Hey, I don't want to try, I'm not trying to play attorney, but surely they've seen this. John Smith, yeah, Brazil. They did ask her about that. I know, cynical. I cracked up at that. He asked about $3,000 in DoorDash in a month. Do y'all know how much DoorDash that is? But then was also going to this other place, and I know they sell the fat shot. That's what we call it, the GLP-1. So I do wonder. No, the Gucci bag was her friend, not Angie. Had like a. Do y'all ever remember that store called Francesca's? I used to love Francesca's, but she was just carrying like a purse. It didn't have like a brand or anything. Yeah, Ohio Palm Mom, I think you're right. I mean, I'll send it. I got the whole thing downloaded on CaseLink. They have a whole file on my computer. Um, but I don't think a lot of people know that they can get all this. Oh, okay, Beach Bum, that's $100 a day, 30 days, 3,000. Yeah, I will say that. Damn, DoorDash is so expensive. I mean, we use it some, but we're not doing it every day. Cynical. She's probably manipulating these friends to pay her way, or they're just rich and dumb. I saw her friends on a podcast recently, whatever you want to call it, and they were like, "Well, her group, while it's smaller," I'm like, "Oh, I bet it's smaller. I bet it's smaller." Well, that Beach Mom, that's why I put. So y'all know how I am with my channel here. I like to show the documents. I want to show this stuff. I want people to see it. You know? Yeah, it can't hurt. I mean, I know I've heard Georgia say that before, right? Hasn't Georgia said, "Hey, I don't mind when people send me stuff. I'll send it." I mean, this one though really spoke out to me. Okay, I'll send it to him. Yeah, I mean, how do you not eat cereal? I think that might have been too. I think the daughter, who was a teenager, I mean, you give a teenager DoorDash. I will never forget once my son, this is before he was driving, and his dad, of course, this is divorce stuff. His dad had given him like an Uber Eats account on his phone with an Amex on it. And I got home and there's like burger wrappers. I'm like, where did you get this stuff? He ordered like burgers from these places, like $80 worth of burgers one day in the summer. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. She was probably ordering from Sperry's. Yeah. So I will confess, we ordered Dairy Queen Blizzards the other night. We love a Dairy Queen Blizzard, but we like Heath. And we had gone and had burgers with friends. And I was like, are we going to go to Dairy Queen? And he said, my husband's like, I mean, do you want to? I was like, no, it's fine. I'll just have a grape outshine. And then when we got home, my friends who we'd gone to dinner with, they had texted us a Dairy Queen picture. I said, oh, well, Stephanie and John went to Dairy Queen. And he's like, you said you didn't want to go. I said, that's fine. It's fine. And then around like 8:30, 8:45, the doorbell rang. And I like freaked out. I'm like, who is it? Who is it? And it was DoorDash. He's like, I ordered the Dairy Queen. But so like when you're excited, and it was the wrong flavor. It was like brownie blast, and it just tasted like freaking walnuts. It was not even good, and I freaking ate it. Cat Ride, do they drug test her? I would assume if you're on house arrest, they do. I don't know how that works. Beach Bum, you better hope she pleads out. She needs help. Prison won't help her. I know I'm kind of surprised, but I think her attorney is really. I don't know. Is this an insanity plea? I don't know how this works. Yeah, I'll send it to him. I mean, look, prosecutors we know are slammed, right? Yeah. Beach Mom, I think it was like 2 burgers, but by the time, you add the fries and all that, and he was a growing teenage boy, but yeah. Or maybe it was Postmates. I think it wasn't. I think it was Postmates. Yeah, the wrong order. It does suck. I was like, oh my God. And the Dairy Queen, like, it wasn't our DoorDashers' fault. It was brownie. It was gross. Oh, I know, Beach Bum. Also, if you've ever given your teenager your credit card, I remember saying to my son, I said, "Hey, listen, I see the charges at Wendy's for like $35. Like, clearly you're buying your friend's food. I mean, I know fast food's more expensive, but this isn't working for me." Yeah. Cynical. Maybe prison isn't the place. She might need to be admitted to psych and learn how to be an adult human because somewhere along the way she missed that. I know, but the problem is there's really not these psych places anymore. I mean, years ago, I think it was in the 80s when they closed a bunch, and my grandfather, doctor, he died a long time ago, but he said there's going to be a major problem. He called it. He did. He predicted this. This is going to happen. Yes, I agree, John. After hearing this, I would worry for the husband and the other child if they give her the kind of freedom she wants. I know. I just don't even think, like, how does a 50-something-year-old adult change at this point? It does remind me a lot of Lori Vallow. Oh, I agree, cynical. Absolutely, she needs to FaceTime. Um, but it is very concerning. Let's see, what is the sentence for solicitation? $8 to 30 years and a fine of up to 25,000. Well, good luck. Good luck getting that. Range 1, standard offender, 8 to 12 years. Range 2, multiple offenders, 12 to 20. Range 3, persistent. Like, does that mean you like continually are hiring a hitman? Oh, just an offender. Never mind. Sorry. 8 to 30 years. Class B felony, which carries a statutory prison sentence. I agree, Skier. There's no way she's walking. Yeah, cynical. Not seeing that 25,000. Yeah. I mean, I agree. She's not going to change. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, I always say, and y'all might disagree with me, but the homeless problem, there's a lot of charities out there that will help people, but it's mental illness. I mean, these people don't want to change. Yeah, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yeah. I would love to know what the diagnosis is. I mean, I think there's several things going on. Beach bum. She's been this way her whole life. They really don't change. They may be medicated to control some of it, but it won't go away. John, maybe she can start a prison GoFundMe to pay off the 25,000. Maybe she could work at Graceworks. Kidding. Yeah, I agree. It's something else. But people can be smooth talkers. Like, I think she's probably very bubbly and likable. I mean, you can see she's been on a zillion podcasts and stuff. And that's another thing. Has the state seen all those? Because I've watched a lot and I'm keeping notes and timestamps. It'd be a gift. Go send go. Cynical, I know. I mean, it was crazy. Like when she walked in today, I was like, oh, it's like when I was in the courtroom with Blaze Taylor, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it kind of just like it's something I can't explain. Oh, Beach Bum. GoFundMe won't let her raise for criminal defense. Yeah, the daughter is 19, but I mean, the daughter totally backs mom. I mean, they're best friends. They're best friends. Yeah, daughter's in college. So, but yeah, the affidavit, the other one coming is really good. I shouldn't laugh. I feel really, really bad for him. Oh, her demeanor. I mean, she can put on a good act, walks in her, I'm sure it was a J. Crew suit, with the walks in and smiling and very contained, talking with her defense people. Um, there's like 3 people there in support of her, or 4, and I don't know. What do you about the daughter scare? Yeah, no, they're her daughter. The daughter hasn't talked to the dad, in like 5 years. So, um, but yeah, she and mom are best friends. So I don't know how you. That's the only hope, maybe. If she can go to prison and then the daughter can have some breathing room. But I think it's gonna be tough. Oh, cynical, taking the burden of being in the courtroom. I have to say, when I was there today, I mean, over 3 hours. Good Lord. That's a long time. Is anybody watching the Mario trial with Shanna Gardner? Speaking of Hitman, I watched the testimony with his friend, and something else. But that courtroom, it's like so fancy. It's kind of hard to watch. I don't know. It's like the lights, the sconces are bright. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah, fractured people, fractured families. This is one thing I will tell y'all from working with families for years. It doesn't matter how much money, poor, rich, if you're from the fanciest Beverly Hills to like, the sticks living in a trailer, every family has drama. But for the most part, mo money, mo drama. But everybody has got some dysfunction, every single family. And if someone says they don't have it in their family, they are lying. Was Doggett the bounty hunter with her today? No, I guess just her friend who signed the note. Cynical, no. Mm-mm. The daughter had said that the daughter's claiming that dad SA'd her, right? All this crazy stuff. It's crazy. And then it was like investigated 4 times or so, and it was never found to be true. A judge in this county told the mom, you cannot bring anything to this court for 5 years. So, yeah. Scare. I don't understand why the attorneys wouldn't advise her to plead and get a deal, or she's looking for attention. Maybe because they're trying to go on the mental thing to get her off on that. But then what? You just let her go roam the streets? Because that's scary. I mean, what's the other option? And maybe that attorney wants to go to trial for the PR. I've thought about that. But I've never heard anything about a plea. Nothing. You're behind on the testimony in the Mario trial. So that was Shanna's trainer, right? And then, but is he Mormon? Because that was a big deal to her parents. But like I mean, those people are mega. I bet you he'll go to prison and then wonder if she'll get off. I think she'll go to prison. Yeah, it is the camera angle. It's like huge. And then they have these big leather chairs and everyone like swivels up in the witness stand, but the sconces are like this bright fluorescent light. Yeah, he wants the publicity. Is the defense lawyer good for Mario? I mean, are her parents paying for that defense lawyer? So what did she do? Marry this guy just to get the money and get Jared killed, and then now they're divorced? Cynical. Letting everyone off on mental incapacities discounts it when it is real. That is just toxic. And aren't all criminals, for the most part, like just sick? I mean, I don't think like normal, healthy people do that. Yeah, the attorneys moved back. Yep. Yeah, he's moved back from California here. So they said he's from Tennessee, but he does not have a Tennessee accent. Oh, I should see what his like education is. Let's see. And I will tell you, He does not look like this in person. I mean, he's the chairman and founder of Dre, a prominent law firm based in Southern California. His extensive background includes leadership roles in ultra-luxury brands such as Bentley, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Maserati, Ducati, Dr. Dre, Zibit business owners, which has given him a unique perspective on the challenges faced by the masses. Anything is possible when you're willing to do whatever it takes, is his personal mantra. Personal injury law settlements through mediation or trial, fighting for his clients' every right, defending criminal cases to the point where the judge couldn't even believe it, successfully representing celebrity, music, and entertainment individuals as well as labels, defending businesses and civil litigation disputes, to name a few. Darren's intricate analytic skills and his approach to every matter is representative of his determination to achieving justice for his clients. Good for him. Let's see. Well, I was trying to see like where he went to law school. I need to catch up on Prof. Joe Cat Ride. I know. John, I know. She can't get her tennis ball. I'm telling y'all, she got that tennis ball from writing her appeal herself. Cynical. Married Mario so he could be the trustee to her money and do the hit. I watched Kim Jensen interviews again. So telling after reading the text. Yes, I've heard about Kim Jensen. Why would they let some rando guy be her trustee, though? I don't understand that. Can he make the font smaller? Yeah. Personal injury, business litigation, tax law, family law, entertainment law. Hey, that's kind of cute. This little gavel with the headphones. Criminal defense. These are good stock photos. Darren, meet Wendy Adelson. She'll do anything to achieve her goals as well. And she's... I should watch the video of Jared, baby girl, asking about daddy being hurt. Oh, that's so sad. All right, let's see his locations. Los Angeles, Santa Ana, Las Vegas, Nashville, New York. I mean, that's a lot of offices. It's a lot of real estate. I mean, that's a lot of rent. So he's got an office on 4th Avenue. So that's like right in the heart of downtown. That is not a cheap area. Well, where is that? Yeah, I mean, that's expensive rent. I wonder, like, does he have any other attorneys? Like, how does one person have that many offices? Criminal law, insight, landmark case results. We're a results-driven team dedicated to securing victories for our clients. $49 million dispute victory settlement for $49 million. We don't usually get like a third of that. $7 million pre-litigation premises. 1.5 wrongful death shooting range case. 300 pounds meth case. Probation secured. Kidnapping for robbery. Full dismissal. Oh, heroin distribution, sentence reduction. Inheritance dispute. Uh-oh. That's like our girl from Web Sleuths. 500,000 inheritance dispute victory. Here we go, John. What's her name, Trish? Inheritance rights secured for 500,000. Contentious family dispute. It's like that logo's like renting in shopping malls. I am trying to figure this out though, like how you pay all that. It's a lot of space. It's a pretty good website. Main office is in LA, but I think he said he lives here now. All right, well, now y'all are up to speed. This one's gonna be, yes, Trisha gonna grift. Trisha. Anything else? Y'all have any questions? Anything? Oh, the Latin Kings. Oh, I was gonna show y'all the when we were talking earlier about Frosted and Fearless. Introducing. Oh, hold on.
Introducing Frosted and Fearless, the lipstick so long-lasting you can be recalled to testify in a murder trial and still not need a touch-up. That's right, already at the airport? No problem. Called back to court? Darling, those lips are ready because Frosted and Fearless is specially formulated to withstand long flights, courtroom testimony, awkward questions, and even the occasional, "Can you please come back and testify again?" And look at that frost. The signature pink shimmer says, "I have absolutely nowhere else to be, apparently." But there's more. Your BFF is on trial for murder. She'll be sitting there thinking, why didn't I wear the frosted pink? Don't let your lips become an afterthought when you're making your grand entrance into the court. So pop that collar, tilt your chin, frost those lips, and remember the Frosted and Fearless promise. Even if you don't look good, you still look better than the defendant. Frosted and Fearless. Because justice may take years, but your lipstick doesn't have to move.
Enter code live to 120 and save. You like my super sleuth? I love to be super sleuthing. Space works, maybe. Oh, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, I can read Aaron's next time. It's good. Oh, yeah. I bet Donna was like, look at her. She's got a nice haircut and her hair's not frizzy. Because, you know, in Press Gel, it's like a combination soap, conditioner, shampoo in one. John Smith, you can lie like a dog and it won't smear. Right? All right. Well, I hope y'all have a good weekend. We'll do some more lives next week, but if y'all think I should send that to them, I will. Lipstick on a pig. All right. Well, I'm gonna go catch up on Mario and Shayna Gardner, and I hope that y'all have a good weekend. And I look forward to bringing more to y'all. It was crazy today, so I think everything's due by September 8th, and then he'll rule on stuff. All right. Oh, hey, MC Hamster. I wish Donna all the best with that bar of dial soap in prison. She wishes it was dial soap. Yeah, it can't hurt. Thank y'all so much. Y'all are awesome. Have a good one.
I'm Leslie B, justice seeker, story keeper, and we're still watching, waiting for justice.